Fulton Arthur Blystone, senior AB 38 plus. Ricky Towery ready to set these guys a rolling in a matter of those famous 10 seconds. Senior AB 38 plus. And they're off. Going down to the Vet B class here in just a moment. 38, John Glott out of Waxhaw, North Carolina. 42-year-old rider taking the early lead in this one. Vet B 30-plus class is the Marlboro man. Todd Muscala, also Super Trap in the house. Michael Trapp, Charlie Rogers, Sam Lamp, Nick Wise, Corey Root, Rocky Anderson, Gregory Westfall, I should say. Philip Yates, John Salsa, Jeremy Gouchard, Michael Shelley, John Hanna, Mark Batson from the Media All-Stars, and Daniel Webb. And 10 seconds. And they're off. I keep talking about the Media All-Stars a lot the last few rounds, but we've seen a big insurgent from the ATV motocross racing world here into the GNCC. And, well, the folks there at Media All-Stars are doing it themselves and vying for national championships right now, believe it or not, in about 4 different classes in GNCC. College B, 16-21, Tyler McDaniel, Cole Smith, Spencer Modlin, Michael Spalding, Matt Thomas, Travis Margwa. Also, Eric Holyfield, Derek Stickles, Michael Frederick, Josh Taylor, Chris Gage, Michael Edelblut, Dennis Diot, Andrew Manbeck, Charles Dawson, Colin Gerber, Nick Manstrangelo, J.D. Brown, Tyler Wells, Brandon Eichert, Dustin Burkhammer, Corey Silverthorne, Noah Landis, Roger Norman, Brian Peters, Anthony Barnes, Hunter Grimes, Tyler Wares, Josh Haney, and Ryan Bovis. 10 seconds. College B, 16-21. And the mad dash off the start line now. Just the sound of this. Wow, we got a demo derby in turn 1, it looks like. And now in turn 2, we got ourselves another demo derby. Look at that. Get her all straightened around as our final class about ready to roll into the first turn next. Justin Paul, Brad Fike, Aaron King, Josh Harrison, Kyle Kaufman, Vincent Yannick, Chris Kent, Curtis Barnes, Jay Turner, Levi Gregg, Kenny Kelly, Zachary Dean, Robert Math, Alan Blavos, Justin Farrell, Roger Sargent, Derek Murray, Josh Osborne, Dustin Dickerson, Nathan Pearson, Neil Kelly. 10 seconds for the Junior B 22 plus. And they're off. The Junior B 22 plus class. Rounding the first turns now as we see the 4.59, I believe, or 3.59 maybe, of Chris Kent taking the early lead. And that, my friends, we still got a couple out on the start line, guys, so be watching out. Race fans, we still got riders on the starting line. And, of course, as this race day and this next chapter in GNCC racing history begins to be written, we wonder what the next 2 hours and the end of this chapter will hold. Well, we'll find out, and you folks at home stick around as GNCC Live continues here on RacerTV.com.
Any engine, any season, at home, at the track, or on the trail. AMSOIL for any engine.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design. We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of apparel and gear to dirt bike accessories and OEM parts. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
They're the best off-road riders in the world, and they're coming your way every day on RacerTV.com. Check out all the action from the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Maxxis and AMA National Championship. With live race coverage every week and weekend wrap-up shows, RacerTV has everything you need to know about the fastest riders in the woods. It's all on RacerTV. All racing, all the time.
All right, and welcome back to GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com. For those of you who are watching us here on the live stream, we apologize for the technical difficulties we did have on the starting line. We did record all the footage of the whole shot, so don't worry. We're going to get to those things in just a couple seconds, but for now we're going to introduce ourselves here. Fred Andrews and Jen Kenyon joining you guys live on RacerTV.com. For those of you here at the event, it's a beautiful, beautiful muddy day here at Powerline Park GNCC. Fred, we've been trampling around in the mud all morning, but the sun is shining and the wind's out a little bit, so that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, Jen, you know, today was kind of crazy already. It started out, the sun was out, we started pouring down rain, and then we had a whole bunch of hail coming down. So we're here in Ohio and anything can happen, but the track could have used a lot of rain, Jen. You know, it's here, it's been real dry and dusty here in Ohio, so this rain's really a blessing right now. Even though the track's going to be a little bit slippery here in the parking lot, I think the ideal condition is in the woods right now. The mud hole's going to be good for the fans. That's what we want people to come out here and enjoy, and for the TV crew. But the racing is really going to be good. There's going to be no dust, so it's going to be head-to-head racing.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times we judge the event by what's happening here in the pits, and right now it's a little bit of a muddy mess here because this is an open grassy field where all the vehicles are parked, but we know that out in the woods it's almost better to have conditions like this in a way because, yeah, we cut the dust down, especially coming from Pennsylvania last round. It was very, very dusty, probably one of the most dusty races we've seen in GNCC in a very long time, so this is probably kind of a bit of a relief for some of these guys out there to have a little bit of mud.
Yep, I agree 100%. You know, in the mud, too, you can get a lot closer. Sure, there's a little bit of mud flying, maybe getting on your goggles here and there, but your racing is way more intense. You can see everything coming, and then actually the mud holes can change your whole day. You know, you can go through it all day long and be winning by a mile, and you take one bad line, and boom, you're stuck in the mud, and the mud fleas jump in there and start pulling you out. So it keeps everything exciting. It's not over till it's over.
Yeah, you know, the Powerline mud hole has been historically one of the probably most awesome things about GNCC, this event right here. They do mud runs and all kinds of different events here all throughout the year, so we know that they've got some pretty solid mud holes. There's tons of fans down there, and actually I think the folks on RacerTV.com have been able to see a little bit of that Powerline mud hole, but this year they actually built a jump bigger than I've ever seen before for those guys to jump over, jump in, jump through that mud hole. And actually Barry Hawk explains a little bit more about what they have going on out there on the track. So we're going to send it over to Barry and see what they've got going on.
Hello everyone, here at St. Clairsville. We got a good bit of rain on Friday, and it made the track quite slippery, so things are going to be interesting, especially in the morning for the youth riders in the 10 a.m. But I'm thinking by the 1 o'clock race the track should be about perfect. So we've got actually about a 12.8 mile track laid out. A couple key things here is the Powerline mud hole. It's always back when I raced here, it it could make you or break you. And I've been on the ground in that mud, sloshing around, and I've made some good passes there. So that's it's going to be interesting down at the mud hole. That's the Powerline mud hole. The other famous mud hole is Gus's mud hole. I've been through it quite a few times, and it's another one of those ones. It has a hard bottom. You just can't see what's in there. There's a lot of rocks in there. The key to there is going through on the far left side. The far right, actually outside the mud hole, looks good. And in years past, it was good, but this year it's not going to be so good. So picking a good line through there is going to be key. Another place is another spot is called Dead Deer Hollow. I don't know how we got that name, but there's a pretty good hill climb in there, a creek section, and actually there's a good uphill and a really good downhill in there. That's one of those spots where you can lose some time there if you pick the wrong line there also. Once you get through there, you're going to head out towards the 8-mile marker up to the about the 8.5, actually about the 9-mile marker. We have a rock section. The ATVs tend to not go through there, but the bikes, it's a good line for the bikes to get through. It's just it's a little too rough for the ATVs. Although they have the option to go through it, no one really goes through there because you're going to lose time. But on bike day, it's very good spectating over there. It's just over from our front gate. From there, they're going to head back into the finish. Got a bunch of turns, nice grass track laid out coming into the finish. So other than that, hopefully everybody enjoys it. And like I said about the rain, we definitely needed it because it was really dry here. So hopefully everybody enjoys it.
All right, thanks, Barry, for that great track description. Man, we got a little bit of it's our first time doing this, isn't it, Fred?
Yeah, I think the rain and the snow's probably got everybody a little jacked up. We came here looking for a nice sunny weekend, and now the rain has come out and the snow and everything, so we're all a little struggling a little bit. We'll get it handled.
Yeah, we've got this nice RacerTV.com studio that you see here, and it looks really sunny and bright, but we're open up to the public here. We got Chuck LeMaster, everybody's walking by waving, but it is freezing cold here, and this is the coldest conditions we've seen all season long. And
we got the wind blowing right into us, too. So the wind is blowing a different direction. That would help. But no, you know what? This is GNCC Hare Scramble. This is GNCC racing right now. Everybody, we've had all summer long perfect conditions. Everybody says, oh, it's hot, hot. Well, this is racing. This is a tough man race. It's going to be ruddy. It's going to be muddy. You're going to be struggling. You're going to see who's in shape and who's not. We're coming to the end of the year, so everybody wants to put in a good performance for next year to show their sponsors that they're worth getting help or trying to look for a ride. So this is when things happen. This is my favorite time of the year to be racing.
Oh, that's for sure. And not to mention, we have a 5-point difference in the championship lead in both the XC1 and the XC2 Pro-Am classes. So that's going to make things a lot more interesting than normal. We've been talking about this all week. We don't normally get to see this kind of close racing in the ATV side of things. On the bike side of things, we do see a lot of championships come down to that final round, but guys like Chris Borich, Bill Balance, Barry Hawk, all of those great ATV racers and champions, when they were dominant, and there weren't a lot of people that could stop that. So for this to come down to the final 2 rounds is, it's epic.
Yeah, I think people have stepped up their game too. They've everybody's kind of caught up to Borich a little bit, and he's had a few minor malfunctions out there, and let Walker Fowler get even closer, and now Walker's got a big snowball. He's rolling good. He's thinking, okay, I've got this one, and Chris is like, man, what's been happening to me? I haven't had this problem in a long time. I've had a big points lead, so now he's got to regroup a little bit because he is a true champion, so he knows what to do, and now this will set the stage, I think. If Walker can go out there and win again today, then Chris is really going to be scratching his head.
Yeah, with a 5-point difference there, that's the difference between first and second place. So say Walker Fowler came out today, got the win, he got those 30 points, they would be tied going into the final round.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. But now if it went the other way around, Chris Borich wins, Walker Fowler gets second, that's a 10-point lead on Chris Borich's favor heading into the final round. So we've been playing these things out in our head, trying to think of all the different scenarios, but of course we have a little bit under 2 hours to figure out exactly what's going to happen, not to mention the rest of the guys that are in that class that really, really want to get a win as well.
Yeah, you can't count any of them out. And like you said, even if Chris would win this race, as we know, it's never over till it's over. So when that checkered flag flies at Ironman, then we'll know who the champion is going to be. And that's exciting, like you said. It's exciting for us, exciting for all the fans, even the pit crews. It makes more. Everything they do is important too. You got to do that perfect pit stop. You got to get your gas in. You got to get the goggles. And like my brother-in-law just won the Enduro Championship. Even the mechanic has got pressure on him now too, because if he messes up, then he thinks, oh, the whole year it's my fault and this and that. So there's a lot of pressure on everybody.
Yeah, you know, as we speak of the two devils walking through, here they come, Walker Fowler in the front position and Chris Borich in second place. So this stage could not be set any better for the championship battle.
And you can see the lines are running, Jen. You're running the outsides are out there on the grass where it's a little bit of traction. You can see the insides are real polished and smooth, so they're real slippery. So, you know, Walker's running the high line and Chris is going on the inside. And you know, this ground is so hard here for the amount of rain we've had, it's not really getting rutted up. It's just getting polished up and slippery.
Yeah, you know, we're trying to detect who's that third place position. It looks like that could be Chris Bithell in the third place position. He's not really slowing down for those turns. He's coming in. The first two guys, they were a little bit, you know, careful, cautious coming in. But that third place guy, he's just coming in hot and flat track sideways, making that corner.
Yeah, you know, I'm surprised they're really spread out this far, this early in the race. You know, like we said, the track is a little bit muddy, but that's good for close racing because no dust to hold them back. And they're kind of spread out a little bit. And these guys are really going after. You can see the downhill's getting a little bit of kickers in, and everybody's just polished. That polished ground's really slippery, and everybody's trying to ride the outside line and get a little extra traction.
You know, Fred, talk about the race strategy. A lot of times guys change up their strategy when the conditions are a little bit different. It's wet. It's not terribly. It's not a huge mud race out there, but it is a little bit different. If you were in Chris Borich's position in that second place spot, you know, are you charging hard at Walker Fowler? Are you wanting to get out front, or what do you think is the race strategy?
Well, at this point, I think Chris probably wants to get out front and make a statement right now because Walker's been getting out front and Walker's been getting away from him and winning. So I think Chris wants to try to break that little mold that's been built up and get into the front and be the guy that gets away from Walker. Or even if Walker just follows him, Chris will have more of a mental edge that he's the man.
Yeah, you know, normally we see Chris Borich do the whole come from behind, make that pass on the last lap. We've seen him do it time and time again, but I feel like he's been in a different position in the past where he has had that ability, he's had that little bit of leeway, but now it's kind of a do or die situation. He needs to make those passes, he needs to get out front.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to lay back and wait for it to happen. I think he's going to make it happen if he can to get to the front and try to run away with this and make a statement. You know, and as you can see, this got this nice green grass fields we're riding through, and I'm not sure with those little mud mounds down there. I think that's where they got the mud bugs sometimes.
Oh yeah, they've definitely got some big events that come through Powerline Park here in Ohio. They've got a lot of different mud bogging events and everything like that. So you know when the rain starts falling, there's places that this water will collect.
Yeah, back in the woods, you know, there's some ruts and some deep holes that are filled up with water that these guys are going to have to deal with a little bit. But I think most of it's really rock hard. You know, we got Gus's mud hole down the bottom, I believe, and it's real rock bottom, but it just kind of gets deeper and deeper with water.
Yeah, so if you're just joining us here on RacerTV.com, what you're seeing on the screen there is your leader, the number 2 of Walker Fowler. And last we checked in, we saw Chris Borich just behind. They're having an epic battle for that first place position, of course. But we're at round 10 of the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series, presented by AMSOIL and sanctioned by AMA. And folks, if you're a little bit new to GNCC or you're not quite sure what's happening here on the screen, let's take you to a little bit of what we call GNCC 101. We'll give you the lowdown, dirty things that we like to call racing here at GNCC.
Folks, the hardest thing about racing is learning to go fast. But we're going to get you up to speed quickly with everything you need to know about Grand National Cross Country Racing with GNCC 101. By definition, Grand National Cross Country Racing is a cross-country style motorsports race. We race ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides here, and depending on the event schedule, you'll see 6 to 7 races on a given weekend. Some feature riders as young as age 4, and there's even classes for riders over the age of 60. GNCC racers come from all 50 states, as well as numerous countries from around the world, because this is the prestigious championship they're all chasing. Every GNCC race starts with the dead engine start, which means the engines are turned off until the starter waves the green flag. Each rider lines up on the designated row of his or her class, and with the wave of the green, the race is on. From there, the strategy's simple. Get to the finish line as fast as you can. The racetrack is actually designated not by established trail, but by race arrows. And with some exceptions, the riders must stay within 25 feet of the arrows all the way around the track. The riders don't get to practice or pre-run the course before the race either. They're essentially learning it while they're racing and following the arrows. However, riders can walk the track at designated times prior to their race day. A GNCC racetrack includes just about everything. including trails, footpaths, roads, hills, motocross tracks, any terrain that you can navigate with a dirt bike, an ATV, or a side-by-side. You can expect to see a little bit of everything on a given race weekend. The tracks are typically between 9 and 12 miles long for the afternoon race and a little bit shorter for the youth, amateur, and side-by-side races. If you're watching the racing and you're trying to pick out the fastest riders, the XC1 or Pro level racers are going to be running red number plate backgrounds with white numbers on them, and the XC2 Pro Lights riders will be running green number plates with white numbers. The points leader in each class will have their number plate colors reversed. Flags are key here too. The green flag, of course, signals the start of the race. A yellow flag signals caution. The 2-lap board means there's 2 laps remaining, and the white flag signals 1 lap to go. The checkered flag signals the race is over, but you already knew that. Riders are scored electronically when they cross the finish line via a transponder mounted on their bike. Then the overall position and times are adjusted according to the row in which each racer started on. Once the race is over, we invite the top 3 finishers in both pro classes to be interviewed on the Maxis Victory Lane podium, and the top riders in every class are awarded trophies. So now you're close to being a certified expert on GNCC racing. But if you want to learn more, check out the series website at GNCCRacing.com. Or do it the new way and just follow the series on the following social media sites. They'll tell you everything you need to know. After that, we'll see you at the races. We'll talk to you about it in person.
All right, now that we're all professionals here on GNCC Racing, we know everything that's going on. We're going to go ahead and welcome back our true professional here in GNCC Racing, and that's Rodney Tomlin. He's joining us here in the RacerTV.com studio. I'm Jen Kenyon. We're also joined by Fred Andrews here at round 12 of the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series here in St. Clairsville, Ohio. It's a beautiful day for racing, I'd like to say.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Look at all those people waiting for the bikes to come. Look at all that water filling up. It's going to be exciting down there. They are in for a good day.
For sure. This is that world-famous, I guess, Powerline mud hole. It's funny how this thing has developed over the years, Fred, and I know back, I guess, toward the end of your tenure, you were actually racing here at Powerline Park, and even though that might have been an obstacle back then, I don't think it was quite the spectacle as what it is today.
No, Ron, I was looking at it also, and each year it gets bigger and bigger. Mother Nature kind of fills it back in, but between all the quads and all the motorcycles going through it, it is getting bigger, so she can't fix it like she... And it's always exciting and gives some place for everybody to go to.
Well, I'll tell you what, Fred, just watching the transition from that hole yesterday, I know when I got in here on Friday morning, it was dry, dusty, hard-packed. I mean, we didn't know what to expect. And something else we didn't know what to expect, what's going on right now. And right now we've got our first laps now wrapping up. And look at this, Walker Fowler leading just exactly where he needs to be. Chris Borch back in second. That's where he needs to be, at least at the moment, and if that finishes up like it is now, we'll come out of this one as a tie. But one thing we can point out right now, Fred, is we've seen these great battles develop in this championship, and the championship unfold to where we have just a 5-point deficit. But what we haven't seen so much of is Chris Borch actually in that number 2 spot, actually with Walker Fowler in his sights at any point in the race, whether it be late in the race, early in the race, or the middle of the race. Right now, Chris Borch is right where he wants to be.
Yeah, you know what? I actually think the opposite, Rodney. I think Chris Borch wants to be leading. I think Walker Fowler's riding on that big snowball. He's on that high that he can win if he's out front. And I think Chris wants to break that. I think Chris wants to get out front as early as he can and show him that he's the man.
Yeah, that's quite possible. I know that Chris does kind of want to make a statement. That's one thing that, you know, he is always reserved for the final lap. But as we know, things have changed up so much in the last couple of seasons of racing that last lap attack that Chris Borch is so noted for, and what we often joked about patenting, you know, the last lap pass thing, you know, it's obviously become a situation where you've got to run and gun from the get-go. It's no longer just sit back and wait for things to fall into place. You've got to make things and force things into place at this point, it looks like.
Yeah, and I think Chris Borch always had a points lead before then too, Rodney, so he could kind of wait and not really worry about it because he had those extra points to pad. Well, now there's no padding left. He's got to win, and Chris Borch needs to be out front and needs to win every race from here on out to be a champion again.
Walker Fowler, Chris Borch, Brent Sturdivant, who got the whole shot, a rider that honestly kind of primed out a few years ago, stepped away, and then came back and may be ready for a second prime, believe it or not. And we've seen great strides out of him over the course of the past few rounds, especially today with that whole shot. Montrose, West Virginia's got to be real proud right now. 28 seconds back in the number 3 spot. Chris Bithell back in the number 4 position right now, aboard the number 4 out of Irwin, Pennsylvania. We got Johnny Gallagher running his best start so far this season aboard the number 7 out of Aurora, Ohio. He's running 5th. The number 6, Braden Hinthorn, is running 6th, and the 11 of Jay Shadron running the 591 green background plastics in memory of LP Lil Pat McGuire is running in the number 7 spot. Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, he finished up 3rd last week. He's running in the number 8 spot right now. Josh Merritt, the number 20, is 9th. Jared McClurl, Sneaky Snake himself, back in 10th. 11th is Kevin Yoho, and 12th is Brian Wolf now as things begin to check in with the XC2 Pro Amped class. We saw Goings going through a moment ago. He had only 3 seconds behind him. Marty Christofferson, the 564. By the way, Goings rides the 997 out of Petersburg, Indiana. Martin Christofferson, the 564 out of Richford, New York, running in 2nd. The 15, Cole Richardson out of Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, was 3rd. Fred Marley, the 17, he runs 4th out of Osgood, Indiana. And rounding out the top 5, Ryland Johnson out of Rector, Arkansas. Now, as far as the overall is concerned, our XC2 Pro M class actually sits 11th overall right now. That's Marshall Goings. If you look at adjusted time right now, he's only about a second off the pace of the 10th place ride right now, but still about ready to break into a top 10 overall if things go his way here in the coming laps for sure, Fred. And 31 minutes now into this race. It is certainly, the stage is being set for a great round of racing. You know, one thing to point out as we go back to the XC2 Pro Am class, Cole Richardson back in the number 3 position. I believe Goings is his toughest competitor coming into this round, who Richardson, who is a AmPro teammate, an AmPro Yamaha teammate of Walker Fowler, ironically was leading that championship by 5 points. And he is the one trying to play catch up right now from back in the pack a little bit, back in the number 3 spot. He's only about 10 seconds off the pace, but right now Goings has the early advantage.
Yeah, Rodney, it's early in the race right now. People are just kind of sorting themselves out, and even with all the rain and stuff, now the sun's come up and the wind's starting to blow, so this track's really going to dry out, and I'm telling you, this is going to be the best condition we've had for racing in a long, long, long time. You know, we got all that dust last weekend. This week we got some rain and we got a little bit of snow and some sleet, I should say, and now the track's really going to be in great condition. So these guys are really going to be able to battle good out there today. And you know, there's going to be the water holes. I think the water holes are going to be the difference. If they get a good line and they can jump and get through them water holes, they should be in good shape, you know. But if they don't and they pick a bad line, boom, they're stuck, and that could be their whole day.
For sure. And watching the track develop here today, and like you said, we have seen those different track conditions, maybe the best that we've seen so far as we watch this Amsoil finish line region. And hey, speaking of Amsoil, Fred, don't forget you can actually pick up $250 in Amsoil product by simply working with us on this. All you got to do is tweet out the favorite, or not necessarily favorite, but your podium predictions for the day. And if we choose your prediction, whether it's right or wrong, will be chosen randomly. We'll give you $250 in great Amsoil products. Now, riders and fans here at the racetrack have an opportunity to sign up personally for the 1190RX machine, the EBR 1190RX Air Buell Racing machine. And of course, with that, you too at home can do it as well. Just simply log on to amsoil.com and you'll find out all the details in their Legends Building contest, where you could win some great bike there from Amsoil. And today, you can win your $250 in Amsoil products. All you got to do is hashtag it GNCCLive, and make sure you're following at RacerTV. Fred, as we were mentioning there a moment ago, the weather conditions, you mentioned the best conditions we've had so far this year. If you remember, if we go back and look at the history of 2014, we started out at the Mudmucker GNCC, and it lived up to his name. our first time ever there, not really knowing what to expect. I think what we saw was something a little more drastic than what is normal that time of year, because there had been a lot of rain leading into that particular event. Then we went to Georgia. ATVs had a beautiful day on Saturday of racing. Bikes had a horrible day as far as the track conditions were concerned because of the rain and things that took place. Then we went to North Carolina. The rains fell. It was cold. Kind of a similar situation to what we're looking at here today. And then when we hit South Carolina, it actually started to dry up. I mean, it's amazing how 2-3 weeks made such a difference in North Carolina to South Carolina, and how much drier it was. And since that point, how dry it actually has been.
Yeah, Rodney, and I think most of the guys will like this conditions right here today. You know, the track's only going to get better the more they go around. You know, it's just going to be a lot better, a lot more fun for them out there. And I'm just amazed that some spots over there are already dusty.
Yeah.
When they go into the corners with all the rain and the sleet and snow, and now we got dust already. So the wind's kicked up, the sun's out. It's a beautiful day, and I just want to see the mud hole.
I do too. I can't wait to see these guys coming through here in just a few moments. They're about the 4.5 mile marker. In reality, we are now 35 minutes into this race, 28-minute races. So I'd say probably within the next 5-6 minutes we'll be seeing them over there about the 4.5 mile mark. It might be a little longer than that. But wow, what you just said, that was kind of funny. The rain, the sun, the rain, the sleet and snow. It's amazing the gamut that we've ran since, well, over the course of the past 24 hours. 24 hours ago here, this place was a hard-packed dust bowl.
Yes, sure was, Rodney. And, you know, that's a blessing, us getting this kind of condition for us to race in like this. This is going to be so much better for everybody. And speaking of stuff, you know, you talked about that AMSOIL's giving away that bike, and I just want to put a little plug in there. I was over there looking at that bike, and that is one mean bike.
It is sweet. You know, you could actually, that's a street legal machine, but it is an Air Buell Racing built machine. Yep. It is literally a road racing bike. You can take that to Daytona or any of the road racing courses, and you can start laying laps down on it and know that you've got a fully functioning nice bike there. So I mean, those guys, AMSOIL pulling out all the stops there. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, Fred, talking about 24 hours ago and the amazing change that we've had as we watch these riders make their way in. Yesterday, a number of the GNCC Racing Nation faithful actually had a chance to make their way to some local school visits, and I believe that you may have actually been a part of that, huh?
Yeah, Rodney, we went to a local school and did an anti-bullying thing with Jen and that GNCC crew, and it's a great thing. You know, we go in there, the little kids, they see the bikes and they start, ooh, yeah, and they get all excited. And then it was a really good thing. We took Sarah Baldwin and Nick Davis went with me on the KR4 side of the motorcycle, and then they had some quad guys there, and it was really exciting.
Yeah, and I know that's always something, as we get to see a little bit of video from this right now. I mean, it's always something exciting there, a packed house, gymnasium, I guess you could say, as far as the students were concerned. But whenever you go on these visits, what kind of things do you guys do? You promote certain things, just the races, or what?
Yeah, you know, we just talk about never giving up and always helping somebody if they're down and out. You know, you see a kid struggling in school, don't shy away from it. Just go over and say, hey, I know how to do that, and I'll help you. You know, just the big thing is helping each other. And then on the motorcycle side, we tell them how important it is to wear a helmet, and how to wear boots and gloves and goggles, and introduce all the safety stuff. And then, you know, the biggest thing is we try to tell them to come out and see us. You know, bring their parents. We give them the little kids to come out and get their parents to come out and enjoy racing, and maybe one of those little kids will be a racer someday.
Yeah, and what's really cool is you guys have a little contest where they do, I guess you can get dressed the fastest, kind of a pit stop, if you will.
Yeah, you know, and the kids are so excited to see the bikes, and it's a lot of fun just inducing them to race. And there's old Nick.
Yeah, it is. Look at those little guys, man, looking up. You know, that's some great influences. You know, so often motorcycle racers and ATV racers get such a bad rap. They look at it and they think, you know, that's just a bunch of wild party dudes. Those guys are crazy. They're going to bring this into our neighborhood. They're going to bring this into our community. And it's sadly so much the opposite. You know, I mean, we are actually a very family-oriented, goal-driven sport. And I think once the folks realize that, like those little guys there, man, you could see them. They were looking at those riders with stars in their eyes as they watched them go around.
Yeah, Ronnie, and you would be surprised how many kids, when Jen would ask them a question, how long does the girls' class ride for? And the kids would raise their hands and they'd have them right, and we're like, are you guys guessing? Did you know? And they go, no, we really go to the races. So there's a lot of kids in the area that really come to the races. So that was kind of cool. And Jen had to quit calling on them because they're getting everything right.
Well, that's good. At least they're paying attention, and that tells you we are in the heart of GNCC country here. I mean, I think when you say the word GNCC in certain sectors of the world, some folks may look at you strange unless they're into the off-road racing world. But around here, I don't even think you have to own a motorcycle or an ATV to know what Grand National Cross Country Racing is.
Yeah, down here in this part of Ohio, there's a lot of people that just ride four-wheelers for hunting or just recreation, and a lot of dirt bike riding. And actually, the park we're at, Rodney, they have big jamboree, four-wheel drive, four-wheeler kind of rides every, I think, Memorial Day weekend or on the holidays and stuff like that. And it's a great thing for everybody can come here and ride and have a good time.
It most certainly is, and good times had by all. I think Labor Day and Memorial Day are two specific dates that they have. And then, of course, the GNCC, one of the big things that take place here, obviously. And watching this track, the sun beating down on it. No, the temperatures are cool, so we don't expect it to dry up a whole lot. I kind of expect and anticipate, no matter what happens, the conditions to be a lot like what they are today, tomorrow, for the two-wheel side of things. Right now, we've got riders checking in. We're watching. That's a battle for Corey Silverthorne and looks like Michael Frederick. They're battling in that College B 16 to 21-year-old class as we watched them come by there just a moment ago. And actually, other riders that we'll be watching out for here in just a moment will be the number 2 and the number 1, the 149, and they should be coming up on that 4.5 mile marker, or the world-famous Powerline mud hole here in just a few moments. We'll be catching some video from those guys in just a bit. Right now, obviously, these inclement conditions have forced some, look at that, right, as if on cue, man. There comes, is that Walker Fowler? Sure is. Fowler making his way through, and you know that mud hole, they've actually put a pretty nice, it looks like they're coming at it a little different direction, or they're actually coming, I'm used to seeing them come the other way, I thought, out of the woods and across the mud hole. They got a nice little jump built there, so I don't think the mud hole's going to be much of an issue, at least today, or at least early in the race.
I don't know if everybody's going to jump that big old jump, Rodney, but yeah, they used to come down through the woods, through the power line, and kind of straight out. Now they're kind of coming at an angle, but I don't think everybody's going to want to jump that thing. So it's going to get exciting here. About 10 or 15 probably more people through there. They're going to start riding through it and making it wider, and that's when it's really going to happen. Because you can see Chris and those guys, they're hitting that thing really fast, Rodney.
Now, I didn't see Borch go through, so I'm wondering if maybe he was ahead of Walker Fowler there. If that looked like Walker. I thought I saw the number 2 going by there.
Yeah, I think Walker was first. I think Chris was behind him.
Oh, okay. I missed the
But,
second.
you know, there's a little bit of mud on them, so we could be wrong. But that was another thing I was going to say. For all the moisture and the rain and everything we've gotten, those guys really aren't even that muddy. It's just a little bit of mud, so it's pretty dry out there already.
Yeah, a lot of the mud actually forced off the racetrack by the 10 o'clock race this morning, where we saw some great battles unfolding out there, to say
Man,
the
do
least.
they have a lead.
It is Walker Fowler out front of Chris Borch as they just head toward the 5 mile mark right now. There goes Brent Sturdivant. They've got that one dialed in. I think the Powerline mud hole, I believe, is not going to be the spectacle that we're used to. But then again, you may, as that digs out a little more, and more people don't make the jump, it's going to pull more water up on that bank. So we might get to see what we're looking for. I know, mentioning the 10 o'clock race there, if you will, Fred, and you know, not only do we have 10 o'clock morning races, but also, again, those youth races. And once more, we saw another great battle. We saw a lot of position changes, and right there at the very end, guess what? Brandon Frazier was able to pull it out one more time, and Jim Kenyon caught up with him after the race.
So we're 11 rounds into the 2014 season, and Brandon Frazier, for most of these races, you've been kind of checking out on these guys, but today was a little tougher of a race. But you still came out with the win. Tell us what happened out there.
First lap, the whole shot, I got the whole shot. It was like, I really don't get the whole shot too often, so it felt pretty good to leave the first lap. Coming into the second lap, I hit a tree, and I got boggled up with some lappers, and Tim got me right here at the chicane because I just slid wide, and the track was so slick out there. And it was a pretty much good race for me and him the whole entire track. Correct.
Yeah, it was getting close there at the end. He actually had you on the time as we were watching on live timing and scoring coming into the final lap, and you must have did something to put yourself out front there.
Oh yeah, I put my head down as hard as I could when my dad said put in good laps. And I just tried and just kept going and kept going.
Well, you have to do what your dad says. You got to put those good laps in. We do want to congratulate you on the 2014 Youth Overall Championship. High five for that one. How does it feel?
Great. I've never been in this opportunity. It's just once in a lifetime kind of thing, so it just feels amazing.
All right, well, once again, you're the man, Brandon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brandon Frazier out of the great Sunshine State of Florida. No matter what the conditions, this kid has prevailed. So he is undoubtedly the undisputed GNCC Youth Overall Champion. Congratulations to you on that. Putting together some good rides and a great season, to say the least. Coming from behind today a little bit, I think, if memory serves me correct. I know at least early in the race, Turbo Tim and Ronnie Rush and those boys were doing quite a good job up front. Those are some names I think you guys might want to remember about 5 years down the road. Right now we're back in the, I believe that's the XC2 Pro-Am class, maybe starting to make their way around there. A few XC1 guys as well. But yeah, I'm with you, Fred. I know you made mention there just a second ago. You said those guys are going to start tapping that lip down on that jump. We could see that get pretty gnarly here pretty soon. We're in the pits now. Pit stops are underway, and I'm not sure if Fowler went to the pits yet or not, or whether we just happened to catch the tail end of something there. I thought I saw Brent Sturdivant, and if that is the case, then he has made it through the pits. But then again, I might not have seen the 149. Well, so we'll keep an eye on the pit region right now. I see Joe Borge and the Borge Bandits there just kind of holding steady there.
Yeah, Rodney, you know right now there's a whole lot your picker can do out there. You go by your pit area, they give you the board, tell you where you're at or where somebody is and who you got to chase after, and then you're kind of on your own. You know, they just kind of hang out and wait for the report updates from us.
Well, there we go right now. More riders, and I am starting to see that start to chew up a little bit. I'm starting to see exactly what you're talking about, and honestly, I think maybe we may have seen this same scenario. It not look so appetizing from a spectator standpoint in years past, but by races end, it was a whole different situation that unfolded. Look at that. That's soft right there. That gives you a pretty good indication that maybe it will.
Yeah, you know, Rodney, I think, too, we were afraid maybe if we got a lot of rain and that got really bad, it would be impossible to get through it. So they may have built that jump up just a little bit in the anticipation of it getting really muddy and wet from the rain. And we got a few holes coming in there, but it's definitely not the Powerline Park mud hole that all these people are wanting to see, I don't think.
Yeah, they may be in store for a treat yet, though. I mean, it may develop as time goes on here. Right now, watching as we are some 46, almost 47 minutes now into the battle. Rodney Tomlin, Fred Andrews, and Jen Kenyon. Walker Fowler leading Chris Borch. Brent Sturdivant in the number 3 spot. Bithell was running 4th, and Johnny Gallagher rounded out your top 5. Followed by Henthorne in 6th, Jay Shadron in 7th, Bryson Neal, last week's 3rd place finisher, last race's 3rd place finisher in the number 8 spot. Josh Merritt running 9th, Jared McClure back in the number 10 spot. That is XC1 and also the overall right now. 11th place being commanded right now in the overall by the XC2 Pro-Am class leader, 997 Marshall Goings. Another championship battle that is being waged right now between the number 20 and the number 997 and the number 15 of Cole Richardson. They got the green backgrounds back there. So if you guys are watching this out on the racetrack and you're here with us at 94.7 listening in on what's going on, that's another battle you're going to want to watch out for as far as championships are concerned.
Oh, there's our first one down.
Uh-huh.
You know, I got that little suck hole right there, and I've been watching it.
Yeah, when I seen that kid walk across the track right there and stick a foot in there, I knew that you were pointing out some pretty probably what to a lot of folks were pretty obvious things. I just didn't see it right then, but now look at that already. I mean, they're stuck, and now look what other situations it's going to develop. They're going to start coming up short. Oh, Fred, I love the Powerline mud hole. This is only the beginning of some mayhem.
Yep, and there's everybody jumping in to help him out. They're going to roll it out of there, Rodney, get him on some
Solid
hard
ground.
ground, yeah, and see if you can't get him out.
Yeah, that thing was suctioned in, and there was just nowhere to go with it. So that was pretty creative on the part of the fans, I think, to think about let's just roll it a couple times or roll it once.
Whether he wanted it or not, it was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
They were going to take in control and rolling him out.
Wow. So here we go, folks. Now the crowd's starting to get amped up down there, and rightfully so right now. See some guys down there with some headset radios on. Wonder if they're listening to 94.7 and GNCC live call. Wave if you are, buddy. Guess not. He's waving that guy on right now. Well, that's the action that's going on down at the Powerline mud hole, and there it is. It is starting to develop its ever nasty face. It's a solid landing, but after the landing is what you got to be worried about on this one. It's different again this year, but yet the same, man.
Yeah.
I seen that on a movie once. I had to use that line. It's the same but different, man. But anyway, watching this all unfold right now, we are about 5 minutes out, and there's our second victim being swallowed up by the Powerline hole there. About 49 minutes, working on 50 minutes now into this race. Less than 5 minutes away from seeing a second lap complete here. Right on track, right on time right now. And you know, watching these times, I got to wonder, is this race going to be a little short or a little long today? I think they are listening. Wave, man. You watching? You listening? He's talking to somebody down there.
He's got a stick there so he can point some good lines, but I don't see him using it yet.
That's probably, he's going to wait until it gets really bad and he's going to start pointing them in that direction. Well, the crowd is beginning to, I believe, form down there, and I think there's a lot behind the camera crew right now that we're not. Yeah, up there on the left, man, a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people up there in the woods, Ron. You can see them way up
look at
there in
that.
the woods. Everybody's there watching.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of people there in those edges of the woods right there. So this is where the spectacle is, it seems, and I wouldn't be surprised that they're in a couple other places on this racetrack that are probably somewhere in the same.
Oh, yeah, Rodney.
as-
You got Gus's Mud Hole down there very bottom. You got Dead Deer Hollow. I'm sure we're going in that. And with all the rain we've had, and it's kind of hilly here, all the water's got to run somewhere, and it's probably right down in those ravines where they're going there. So, you know, it's probably too far for us to get cameras to, but, yeah, there's more than one good spot to watch here.
Man, that's like stopping them dead. I mean, like, burp.
Yeah, and then like you said, Rodney, with this guy being stuck in here, they're either going to have to make new lines or roll over that hill, so it's only going to get better and better as the day goes on.
Look at that, a little dust.
Yeah, a little fresh dirt there.
Gotta like that. That's, I guess, some good signs. As Fred mentioned, I saw the same thing you saw, Fred. Probably right outside your motorhome parked right over there. As they were going around in that 10 o'clock race earlier today, there was actual dust starting to kick up. Not like it was getting unbearable and you couldn't see, but little puffs of dust, and that's something we didn't really expect. I knew that the ground was hard and dry and hard packed. I didn't quite realize that it was that hard and that dry because it sucked up every bit it could on the top, and it's being greedy on top because it's not letting it get down below right now.
Oh.
Now,
Yeah, that little sinkhole's definitely starting to take its toll on people, Rodney. And this guy here, when he gets stuck now, Rodney, he's going to take off really hard, and the rear wheels are going to spin, and it's just going to dig it out deeper and deeper.
We couldn't ask for a better championship battle than we've got right now in the 4x4 Pro Class. Brian Buchanan, congratulations once again on another win. But you and Kevin Trantham, you've really got some good battles going on this year.
Oh, yeah, it's been an amazing fight. You know, Kevin and I are teammates with Can-Am and great competitors. You know, we give and take. We make it as safe as possible, but we are literally in a dogfight the whole race. So it was amazing today. I wish I could remember every single pass to tell you details, but it was just, like I said, it was a dogfight, and luckily we were there at the end.
You know, it looks like a dogfight out there. Yeah, a little bit muddy. How's the track conditions?
The track started out a little sloppy at the beginning, but really on the second, third, right after the third lap, I think, it was prime. It was perfect, and then it started raining and hailing, and I don't know what else went on. I thought, man, how much worse can it get? It got super slick where it was hard packed, and it was like just ice skating. But then at the end, it started coming back too. So it was ups and downs all day with the track, and you know, that's just one of the elements, and it was a great track. They did excellent job, Racer Productions, and just real happy to be here.
Yeah, I think that there was every element out there. We saw some snow, some sleet. It's a little bit sunny, it's cloudy, raining, everything out there, but congratulations, you pulled through.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
4x4 would certainly come in handy here. Now, one thing to point out again, we don't let the 10 o'clock race roll through this section of the racetrack. So it's starting out. This is really pretty fresh. Wow, alternate line choices. Look at that. Ooh, man, look at the divot that guy left in the side of that bank right there. If they go in that water, they're going to have a tough time getting out of that. That's for sure. Pretty wild the way those guys switched up their lines. You think that they're being directed over that way.
Yeah, because that one guy's stuck right there, Rodney, so they kind of got to move over, and that one guy landed a little short there. Looked like he was riding a bull. He's like one-handed it up in the air, but he held on to it. So this is when things starting to get exciting, that's for sure. You know, hopefully these guys can get those things moving out of the way and we can get them going on. But talking about earlier about the guy in the four-wheel drive class, Rodney, you know, he said it was slippery and he's got four-wheel drive, so I can imagine what it would have been like on a two-wheel drive.
Man.
In that morning class, some guys they did an awesome job out there this morning.
Yeah, they did. You got to hand it to these sport ATV guys. I mean, two-wheel drive on an ATV on conditions like this, man, you have to really want to be out there in order to be out there, I think, to be honest with you. Wow, that hole is just getting wider too.
Yeah, I think it's just waiting for another bike.
Oh, we love GNCC. There's no doubt about that. And rolling through lap number 2 right now, we are, should be at the finish line with our leaders. And here they come now, out about the 9-mile marker. Now, Barry Hawk did say during the riders meeting that the first lap would be about 3 minutes shorter than the rest of the laps. So in reality, I think a 4-lap race is going to put us right there in the 2-hour range. And look at that, man. Walker Fowler not only still leading Fred, but he has gapped the champ, Chris Borich. And now there is
about 15 seconds, Rodney. He's got him by 15 seconds right now.
Wow, 15 seconds. And you were stating there just moments ago how Chris Borich doesn't want to be in that second place position. Well, I can tell you right now, he'd rather be right on the rear bumper of Walker Fowler at this point than where he is right now, because the farther that Walker gets stretched out, the more likely it is that Walker's going to be able to position himself for a win. To see the dust.
Yeah, Rodney, it's about that confidence too. Right now, if Walker's looking back and he can't see Chris coming, his confidence is going to get better and better, and he's going to get more relaxed and more comfortable, and that's something that Chris Borich probably does not want Walker Fowler to do. He doesn't want him to get comfortable out there, because when you're comfortable, everything seems to happen the way you want it to, and you go on for the victory. So Chris probably wants to close up as much as he can and let Walker know that, hey, I'm still here, and put some heat on him and let Walker not, get that momentum going.
Mercy.
And that's one thing you don't want to do on a jump. You don't want to ride off the other side. You either jump it or you got to go around.
Man, tough break for that 704 machine right there. I'm not sure where Jenny on the spot is, but I'm sure she's probably got some good information coming out of the pits. I know that.
Oh, he's got his pants down. You better get a belt.
He does need a belt. Somebody take that guy a belt out there.
Or maybe that was his rope. The rope used to be his belt.
All right. Well, I guess Jenny's not on the spot right now. She's filling herself full of information right now so that she can pass that along here in just a few moments.
And as we talked about earlier, Rodney, all this water that we did and the rain that we did have, you can see on the hillside here, man, that is prime dirt right there. So that water just hit that hard ground and just rolled right off down the valleys, it looks like.
Third place just now making his way in. Still Brent Sturdivant on the 149 machine, a totally alternate line choice. Why would he do that?
Well, like I said, it might be a little slippery there where it's shining. He just wanted to try something, or maybe it's a little lower, but he was just trying to try different lines to find something smoother. But, man, them front guys are for real today. They are gone.
Yeah, they are. Well, you got to realize they've got a championship that they're worried about. You know, one name that I haven't said yet, and I wonder what's going on, and there he is all the way back in 13th place, and I was thinking about this, if things were to happen and Chris Borch and Walker Fowler were to both DNF and Adam McGill were to win, he'd be able to get right in the thick of things. But all the way back in 13th place position, man, don't look like things are going so well for him. You know, I talked to him this morning. His motor builder, Mark Baldwin, was in there, and for some reason, every time that Adam McGill comes to a mud race, he always seconds guesses what bike he's going to run. He comes to the races, he says, well, I got my race bike and it's good in prep, but should I run my practice bike? Should I run my race bike?
You know,
well,
Rodney,
I tell you what, McGill, this is what happened. Mark Baldwin was there and looked at him and said, Adam, you're a pro ATV racer, right? And he said, yeah. He said, race your pro ATV bike.
Yep, he's 100% right, Rodney. When you come to these races, you come here to win. You want to ride your best equipment you have. It doesn't matter if you tear it up. As long as you win, you can buy new parts. You don't want to take a used practice bike out there and have problems that you don't know that's wrong with it. You know, that race bike's 100%. You race the bike 100%. You worked hard all week long. This is your job. Use your best equipment.
Exactly, and I have to tend to agree with that. But unfortunately, whatever the case may be, Adam McGill not completely on point, and I believe that actually as these leaders get set to roll through the finish line, they should be checking in a few moments. We actually caught up with Adam earlier today. We'll catch up with that in just a few moments. We want to watch what's going on here at the finish line soon. They should be coming in. According to timing and scoring, they are 5 minutes late. We'll see if that holds true or not. 27-minute and 10-second lap time last time around. I don't think this has been quite 32 minutes, but we could be in that neighborhood.
Yeah, Rodney, it sounds like we're going to have a really pretty long lap times here, so the fuel strategy is going to be pretty close.
Oh, yeah, it most certainly will be. And that's one scenario that last week, I don't know if it played a big role in what took place or not, but it certainly opened a lot of eyes for a lot of folks and made them wonder, will Walker Fowler play a totally different pitting strategy game here today?
Well, I think Walker and his pit crew, Rodney, after they really know how far they can go on fuel, so I think we might have been a little more worried than they were. But, you know, it definitely did work. Walker got in the lead, and then that's where he wanted to be, and it just, confidence thing. He's just kept on rolling and pulled off the win. And
wow, 6 minutes is what it's saying now. They're late at the finish line. We are an hour into the race. We'll be taking a look at the Mid-State Chevy Midway report coming up here shortly. But right now we're watching, just waiting for the midway point to be completed by our leader, Walker Fowler, and Chris Borch, whom was at last check 15 seconds behind Walker Fowler. Chris Borch was losing time rather than maintaining or gaining time on the defender, the number 2 of Fowler now. As we watch the final few turns, the chicanes area of our Amsoil finish line region, still no sign of the Yamaha of Walker Fowler. And again, like you said, we could be looking at, if this calculation and timing and scoring is right, this is saying well over 30-minute lap times right now. So we may be looking at even as much as 33 minutes on the lap time. But at the same time, I got to think that maybe it's not going to be that much. Maybe I'm off a little bit on my scoring and calculation, which often happens. I mean, I try to do this thing all in my brain at the same time. It's hard to keep it all separate, you know. I got an internal clock. That's what it is. 7.5 minutes late now, according to timing and scoring at the finish line. Does that spell problems for Walker Fowler and Chris Borch? It could, but at the same time, I don't think so, because even if it had, Brent Sturdivant, Chris Bithell, and the boys would have already been through at that point. So I don't think that there's much going on there. We got some action going on over in the pits. That looked like the McGill pits. And here comes the leaders into the chicanes now at the Amsoil finish line. That is still the number 2 Ampro Yamaha of Walker Fowler.
You know, Rodney, we come back here to Ohio, and I know as an Ohio racer myself, when you come to Ohio and you're close to home, man, you get a little bit of extra effort, a little bit of extra strength, and I think Walker's riding on that right now. And the 2-lap board is already out, Rodney.
It is. The Infab Ampro Yamaha backed by Maxxis Lone Star Moto experts. Getting the 2-lap board, he's halfway home, Fred Andrews.
And actually, Rodney, I think he's actually stretched that 15 seconds. I bet it's going to be a little more than that from my guess.
Wow, a 27-minute lap time first time around, 35.5 minutes second. So they're at the finish line, which would be the 0-mile marker, just to let you know, on a near 10-mile course. Chris Bithell, 4th place, just came by the 9-mile marker, so they've got some 3+ minutes lead over the 3rd and 4th, or at least the 4th place ride right now, if that's the case. We'll check it a little further back, but so 20 seconds, you were right, 20 seconds, the deficit now between Walker Fowler and Chris Borch. The gap, or the lap time's 35:27, 35:45. Wow, you've been, I'm sure, been in this situation before in defending a championship battle, man. I mean, you got to know that there's probably a lot of things going through the mind of Chris Borch right now, Fred Andrews.
Yeah, I think Chris might be scratching his head a little bit. You know, they're both going so fast out there that Chris could have made a little bit of a mistake, and Walker got away from him. So now Chris is really digging down deep again, and maybe he made another mistake. And he can see from his pit crew, I'm sure they're telling him that he's actually losing time to Walker. So that might be playing with his head a little bit. And Walker's crew's telling him, hey, you're pulling him. So Walker's just getting more and more confidence. I keep on going back to that confidence thing, but you know, that's what racing is. If you're confident in what you're doing, you're on good equipment, good things happen. And right now, Walker Fowler, being in Ohio, it's got to help him too. Is all his friends and his family are here rooting him on, so he wants to show everybody that he's worthy of being a champion, and he's going after it.
He is, you know, and traditionally this is the way we watch Walker Fowler work through the ranks. And you know, I wrote about it and I spoke about it over the course of the last couple of weeks. You know, I mean, Walker, and I think everyone is looking at Walker as the next big ATV champion, the one that is going to be the one to beat, so to speak. And leaders coming through the finish line there. That is 3rd place finally making his way through. But Walker is, like you say, I mean, just really riding, I think, a huge wave of confidence right now. And being here in his home state of Ohio, only 5 points out of the lead, 4 out of the last 5 races he's won. Yeah, he's got a lot of momentum on his side right now. The steam is certainly rolling in his direction, and it's going to be, I'm sure, tough for Chris Borch or anybody to slow that momentum down right now. We had a chance to catch up with Walker Fowler leading into today's race. You wonder if he was nervous or not. This right here might tell a little bit about it.
Coming into the last 2 rounds, obviously there's a lot on my mind, and the number one thing is the championship. I honestly think to make this championship possible, obviously you have to be in a position to win at both rounds. So far, after summer break, I've been in that position and I've won both races. Hopefully just ride this awesome wave of good string of rides, and we just need to make it happen. Obviously, we're so close, and we can taste victory. We're just right there. Just having the time of my life, honestly, really don't feel pressured. Just been riding, training, having fun, and doing what I love.
Wow. And that's the sentiment he explained to me, just having fun. You know, he also told me I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So, you know, it doesn't matter if I go out here and bomb it or not. I've still got 2nd place the way the points are looking right now. The one that stands the most to lose is Chris Borch, and that's where the real pressure lies right now, I believe, to be honest with you, as we are 2 laps into this one right now. We've got Fowler, Borch, 15, make that 20 seconds. Bryson Neal, look at that. Neal, who was back in about 8th or 9th place at the end of lap number 1, has made his way all the way up in the 3rd. We were talking about Bithell thinking he was 4th place, all the way back at the 9. Well, there's Bryson Neal. He is 2 minutes and 18 seconds back, but the Bidwell Bullet has struck once again. Jay Shadron riding under the 591 number, the Project 591 for LP Little Pat McGuire in his memory, is all the way up to 4th, another rookie right there, and Adam McGill rounds out the top 5. Remember, McGill was all the way back in 13th at the end of lap number 1, so we've seen some major changes out there. There must be some more obstacles out there that we're not quite aware of.
Yeah, Rodney, I think it's another Ohio boy. You know, he's here in front of his hometown, and he's up in 3rd now, so he's going to be going after it. And like I said, Gus's mud hole's probably bad, and I'm sure Dead Deer Hollow's bad, and there's going to be some slippery uphills out there that maybe people are getting stuck on. It only takes 1 or 2 guys to get stuck on it, and then, you know, you can lose a whole lot of time.
For sure, and right now we're going to get a chance to see these guys and see if they're going to try to make up time or whether they're going to not worry so much about time, as we'll be heading into the pits. This is lap 3 that we're on right now. I would almost have to assume that everybody's probably going to pit this time around.
Yeah, Rodney, for sure. I think right now they're definitely at the halfway point. Everybody has to gas 1 time. Walker's got a little bit of a lead, so he's going to stop, and I think you're right. Everybody's going to gas on this lap and race to the finish.
Well, as the leaders head toward the pits, it's Walker Fowler, followed by Chris Bortz, Bryson Neal, Jay Shadron, and Adam McGill. The new blood is weighing heavy in the top 5. We'll be back with more Racer TV and GNCC Live right after this.
Sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
Your coolant. One of the most important things is almost always overlooked. Evans coolant is the first coolant to be 100% waterless. What does this mean? It means a higher boiling point to keep your bike running cooler. No hot spots, corrosion, or buildup on your engine to eliminate excess wear and tear, to save you money, and to make your engine run longer at peak performance. For more information, visit our new website, evanschooling.com.
Find your flow with Maxxis tires.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of apparel and gear to dirt bike accessories and OEM parts. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC Live, brought to you in part by your friends at AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. And by Can-Am, the ultimate ride. And by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready. Back here at the racetrack, Fred Andrews, an hour and 11 minutes now into the race as we are watching some of the XC2 Pro-Am riders check in. Marshall Going still leading. Wow, look at this. Cole Richardson only 0.2 of a second behind as they checked in a moment ago. Fred Marley running a minute 12 and a half seconds back in third. Ryland Johnson was fourth, and Tommy Kuntz rounded out the top 5. And the leaders making their way to the pits in the XC1 Pro class. We'll get to see right here, right now, my friends, what's going to happen in the pit stop strategies here today. Are there strategies, or is it just pit and go?
Yeah, right now I saw the mechanics right there. They all had the fuel cans. It's going to be a quick hit and run here. They're going to make sure they're topped off, but you know, I think the front guys don't have any other problems other than needing a little bit of fuel. And there comes Chris Bortz. He's going to get some fuel, and he knows he's already got his goggles off, trying to save some time. And well, he wasn't happy with them goggles. He don't want no goggles on. He's going after it. And
wow.
You know, I'm not sure that's a good move right now, Rodney, with all that mud out there and all that stuff flying, but.
Wow. I got to wonder if his sense of heightened senses right now. I mean, you know, the blood's pumping, the adrenaline's flowing. I mean, all that stuff is going on right now, and trying to play catch up, man. You know that it's got to be a tough situation for him to be in. Honestly, it's a situation he has never been in as champion, and he has not been in for 6 or 7 years since he was chasing, well, 6 years ago, I guess, since he was chasing, maybe it was 7 years ago when he was chasing Bill Bounce around for that #1 plate back then.
Yeah, you know what else, too, Rodney, I just noticed, too, when I raced, when somebody puts goggles on you, they can never put them on like you. They may have got dirt in there, and he could have seen a big clump of dirt, so that's why he took them off, because I'm sure that he would have wanted to wear them if he could, and like you said, he could kind of be in panic mode right now. You know, Walker's kind of easing his way away from him, and Chris is giving it everything he's got and doesn't seem like he can close that gap. 20 seconds doesn't seem to a lot, but for a guy like Chris Borge, it's a lot because he can usually catch right up or make up that time and get closer. And right now it's not happened quite the way he wants it to, so maybe he is going a little bit of panic mode.
Wow, maybe the Superman of the ATVs, Chris Borge, has found his kryptonite, and that would be in the Lex Luthor styles of one Walker Fowler right now. And I hate to liken it like that, but I've always called, Chris has always kind of put me in mind of Superman for some reason. I don't know why, a Clark Kent type of dude. And now you've got his nemesis out there, Walker Fowler. Who's his biggest nemesis? Well, obviously it's Walker Fowler, and you can only liken it that way. But regardless how we parallel it with whatever is going on, what we've got is history in the making. And you yourself, your first year as a motorcycle champion, your first year as a GNCC racer, you got to witness not only your first championship, but whether you knew it or not, was probably the best ATV racing championship in history, at least over the course of the last 20 years. We haven't seen a battle that tight when Barry Hawk, Bob Sloan, and Stevie Holbert actually battled down to the final race in the final miles. I can't wait to have Barry Hawk tell this story. It's an amazing one. But ended up winning that championship that year. That's amazing. 21 years ago, I guess now.
Wow, I'm old. No, it's good too, because even if Walker does win today and Chris gets second, they're tied. So it's clean slate. Whoever wins, wins. So that even makes the last race even more exciting, Rodney.
It does.
I mean, if Chris was to win today and Walker loses, it's still going to be an exciting race, but then it's head-to-head racing. Whoever wins, wins.
Well,
so, and like you said, we're talking about the Twitter contest coming up right now, your best 3 riders. And, man, it's tough.
Well, look, you got Walker Fowler, Chris Borge, Bryson Neal, same 3 riders that we had last time at this point in the race. Pretty strange. But tweet your podium predictions, and you too could win $250 in AMSOIL product. Man, those guys are sailing now.
Yeah, Rodney, you noticed how far Walker jumped. Walker probably jumped another 10 or 15 feet further than what the guys were, further back in the pack. So there's no way he wants to get caught up in that mud hole.
No, he does not, most certainly. So 20-plus seconds is what we'll be looking at to Chris Borge.
I'm wondering if Walker even gassed that lap, because it doesn't seem like he should have been that far ahead if he didn't.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
He may have actually went one more lap and gonna gas on the last lap, just trying to stretch that lead a little bit.
That I don't know. That might have been the gamble that he didn't want to take if that's the case. And Jenny on the spot, I'm sure we'll get the full details and the lowdown on that. And it's finally, some 30 seconds back now, Chris Borge checks in the number 2 spot. Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about a man on rails right now. Walker Fowler is on a mission, and he said he felt the extra energy from the Ohio crowd here today, and whether or not that's what's keeping him up there and putting him in that position or not, I do not know. But whatever it is, something has got Walker Fowler really well. It could be the confidence of the previous 5 rounds also coming into this one.
Yeah, everything's just this second half of the year, Rodney, he just seemed to be falling right in Walker Fowler's lap. Everything he does turns to gold, and he's having a really good run, and he's having a good day here again today in Ohio. So it's going to be exciting to see if he can hold on to it. Or, Chris Borge, being the champion that he is, he could just throw it all caution to the wind, and he could catch right up to him.
I believe that's Kevin Yoho we're watching right now. Loctite, BNR Motorsports sponsored ride. They're trying to hose that machine out. He must be having some overheating issues, which is kind of definitely a possibility with this thick, heavy Ohio mud. It's stickier than most mud, though, I think.
Yeah, Rodney, right now, it's starting to dry out, so it's not real soupy. It's real thick and sticky mud. So cleaning out the radiators is a plus if you can come in and spray them out. That way you don't get some overheating problems. But man, I don't know. This thing here, I thought this mud hole was going to get a little bit stronger than what it was right now, but these guys are riding so fast and jumping so far, they're actually clearing the mud.
Yeah, so again, we've seen some excitement down there, and I'm sure that there's probably been a lot more that we haven't bore witness to via the camera. There's still a nice crowd down there, and generally the crowd don't stick around unless there's something to see down there, and I think these boys and gals have had plenty to see out there. This guy, what's he doing? He is pretty
part-time juggler.
What about the guy standing in the middle of the track right now? Speaking of this Powerline mud hole. You know, this is only one of the many obstacles on this racetrack, and actually I think Powerline Park is probably one of the racetracks that has had as many, I think, notarized places, to be honest with you. So basically, we put together a nice little package on this one, and the cool thing about this is we're going to get to know the racetrack a little bit more, and some of these areas that we've heard so much about, we're going to find out what they're all about. There goes Bryson Neal, by the way.
Dead Deer got its name. I was not here in the beginning. I was racing back when I believe it got its name, but I think it's probably self-explanatory. I think there was a dead deer, and I think the track went right beside it, and it smelled quite bad. That's how I come up with its name, but as when I used to race it, I remember dropping down into that creek, and then you got the downhill coming into it, and the uphills coming out of it, and it's rocky. It's a pretty technical section, and I'd love to put the 10 o'clock guys down in there, but I think it would get a little bit ugly for those guys. But it's always a 1 o'clock section, and I know back when I used to race, I really enjoyed it because it was quite technical.
Gosh, how many years we've been coming to St. Clairsville, but Gus's Mud Hole is, it's been ran every year we've been here. It's actually a county road that goes down through there, and it's a good hard base, but some years has deeper water than others. But when we first came here, Gus was a guy that helped us show us all around, and he fell over in the mud hole, or fell off his bike down there, and that's kind of how it got its name, Gus's Mud Hole, and from that point on, it's just been known as Gus's Mud Hole.
As for the Powerline mud hole, that's one of those spots where I think years ago when we first started going through it, it was really nasty, and you kind of had to wheelie through it and just plow your way through it, and it's became quite the spectacle over the years. There's probably couple thousand people that end up down there, and it's really good spectating. Actually, the pro riders, they kind of zoom through it so quick. They really they make it look so easy. But then when you get some of the less experienced guys, when they get in there, there's been a few guys go over the bars. Myself, I've never went over the bars there, but I didn't quite make it through all the way and was on my side. And gloves all muddy, ruin your goggles, and it makes a long day if you go down there. But it's one of those spots where if you make it straight through the middle, it's definitely faster. But there's the alternate line that goes around. It's bad also, but it's definitely a lot safer.
Well, there you have it. That's how they got their names, and that's how much that hole right there has changed since yesterday on Friday whenever they shot that particular video. But pretty interesting. That's just some of the obstacles that we have here. And, of course, with that, we are now about an hour and 21 minutes into this race. Walker Fowler leading 30-plus seconds over Chris Borich. Bryson Neal, the rookie, in third. Jay Shadron, the rookie, in fourth. And Adam McGill, the veteran, rounding out the top five. We'll be back with more GNCC Live right after this.
Your coolant. One of the most important things is almost always overlooked. Evans coolant is the first coolant to be 100% waterless. What does this mean? It means a higher boiling point to keep your bike running cooler. No hot spots, corrosion, or buildup on your engine to eliminate excess wear and tear, to save you money, and to make your engine run longer at peak performance. For more information, visit our new website, evanschooling.com.
Check out ARC's new unbreakable Memlon levers. Composite levers that weigh 45% less than aluminum and can never break. ARC levers are on the factory KTM, Husqvarna, Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha, and Beta race bikes. Check them out at arclevers.com.
Do you love racing? All kinds of racing? How about pro motocross, flat track, road race, ATV, GNCC, Supermoto, Enduro Cross? Well, we've got what you're looking for. Welcome to the Racer X Show with Greg White, presented by Chaparral Motorsports. New every Tuesday on RacerTV.com.
Relive the excitement of the 2014 Rocky Mountain ATV MC Amateur National Motocross Championship at Loretta Lynn's with the Loretta Lynn's Remastered Series on RacerTV.com and RacerTV's YouTube channel. Watch any one of this year's 56 remastered live motos in crystal clear high definition anytime, day or night, from the comfort of your own home. It's Loretta Lynn's Remastered, only on RacerTV.
And welcome back to GNCC Live as we continue to watch things unfold. History being written right now as Walker Fowler is hoping to score another win, and if that be the case, if Chris Borich holds on to second place, we'll be able to tie up the championship battle in this ATV race heading into the final round. And what better scenario could we see unfold than that right there? A two-way shootout right down to the very end, and it's going to be exciting to say the least. And right now, let's take a look at that Mid-State Chevy Midway report with 2 laps down, about an hour and 20 minutes now, into about 24 minutes into it now, but we've had several classes checking in with 2. So I want to say thanks to Mid-State Chevrolet, where they stack them deep and sell them cheap. That's where you can get your next new car, truck, or vans. Check them out, midstatechevy.com. Walker Fowler, Chris Borich, Bryson Neal, Jay Shadron, Adam McGill, your top 5. McClure, Sturdy Von Henthorn, Gallagher in 9th, and Josh Merritt rounding out the top 10 of the XC1 Pro class. XC2 Pro M class, Marshall Going still leading Cole Richardson at last check, just under a second, actually just 0.2 of a second separated the two. Fred Marley running in 3rd, Ryland Johnson in 4th, Tommy Kuntz was running in 5th, Randy Hamilton 6th, James Green in 7th, Luke Upaw 8th, Matt Hanna 9th, and Marty Christopherson rounding out the top 10. Now on to the College A class, where I'm sure we'll probably be expecting to see our top amateur come out of that one, but Bryson Hops leading that one out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Kenny Schick running second out of Hops out of Greenfield, Ohio. Schick out of Newcastle, PA. Upper Marlboro, Maryland is home to Kevin McCone, the 27 running in 3rd. 427, Cameron Bruce out of Darlington, PA is 4th. And Steve Covert, the 702 out of Ithaca, New York, rounds out your top 5. Junior 822 plus class, the 28, Wes Kinsley running in the lead out of Morgantown, West Virginia, with Aston, PA's Robbie Picarari, the 226 in the number 2 spot. Michael McAvoy, the 41 out of Chester, West Virginia, runs 3rd. 4th place, Todd Burr from Lower Salem, Ohio, the 351, and the 32 of Nathan Hornacek out of Norton, Ohio, rounds out your top 5. Vet A 28 plus class, Matt Pierce, the 939, leading out of Corning, Ohio, 25 seconds over the 881 of Corbin Knox out of Mercer, PA. It is the 495 Wesley Stone from Auburn, PA, running in 3rd. 4th place, Pierre Dinal out of Contrecoeur, Canada, on the 269. The 355 of Janston Chelston out of Slickville, PA, rounds out your top 5. That was your Vet A class. Senior A 38, Senior A-B 38 plus class. Is that your boys? Wow, they've grown. Aaron Delancey, Brian Foltz. Aaron Delancey out of St. Louisville, Ohio, the number 49 machine. Second spot, the 530, Brian Foltz out of Sharpsville, Pennsylvania. 3rd place, the 38, John Glotta from Waxhaw, North Carolina. The 4th place, the 53 of Jeffrey Flynn from Oldfields, West Virginia. 5th spot, Arthur Blindstone out of Spring Church, Pennsylvania. College B, 16 to 21, 707, Anthony Barnes out front. He's out of Paw Paw, West Virginia. 38-second lead over the 400 of Charles Dawson out of Lisbon, Ohio. 357, Michael Frederick out of Windsor, New York, runs 3rd. 553, Corey Silverthorne out of Cutler, Indiana is 4th. And the 406, Nick Strangelo is out of Newcastle, PA, in the number 5 spot. That one gets me every time. Junior B class, Justin Paul, the 67 out of Oldenburg, Indiana, in the number 1 spot. From parts unknown, the 499 of Simon Bissell in 2nd, followed by 3rd place ride Bridgeport, West Virginia's Justin Farrell, the 512, and 3rd. Levi Gregg, the 373 from Chester Hill, Ohio, 4th. And Robert Mapp out of Westminster, Maryland, rounds out the top 5 aboard the 416. And your Vet B class, Mark Batson, your Media All-Stars rider. Talk about these guys all the time, making the switch over from ATV motocross. There's about 4 of them. They're all 4 about to win championships, believe it or not. And we've got Batson out of LaSalle, Michigan. 383, Rocky Anderson out of New Stanton, PA is 2nd. Nick Wise is 3rd aboard the 353 out of New Freeport, Pennsylvania. 4th place, John Salsa out of Warwick, Rhode Island. And Daniel Webb rounds out the top 5 out of Middletown, Maryland. And that's your Mid-State Chevy Midway report here in GNCC. And, of course, this 12th round of the AMSOIL GNCC Series presented by Maxxis. And we got coming up here in just a second, believe it or not, we talked about it earlier. And right now is a good time to promote this. Be sure and give us your predictions. Who do you think is going to be the top 3 overall in the XC1 or the overall in general? And tweet that out and hashtag it GNCCLive, and you could win yourself $250 in AMSOIL bucks there, or product, I guess we should say. So make sure you hashtag that out. Also, we talked about it earlier. Hashtag Hey Hawk. It's a new segment we got coming up with Barry Hawk, who is joining us in the studio right now and going to give us the lowdown on a few things. And of course, I got a couple of questions for him as we welcome to the RacerTV studios one of our, he's a trail boss. He's one of the greatest trail designers of all time. He's one of the winningest GNCC racers of all time. One of the greatest motorcycle ATV pilots. This guy right here, I'm talking about Barry Hawk. Hey, Barry Hawk, what's going on, buddy?
Just enjoying the day. The rain and hail that come in, it made it a little interesting out there for the riders and for myself, just trying to keep everybody in check and keep them on trails. It's challenging, but things are going good right now.
I know coming into this week on Tuesday, whenever you guys showed up Monday, Tuesday or so, whole different scenario. I know you were anticipating the possibility of this all happening, but we've anticipated it so many times this year that I'm sure you were probably like, probably going to be the same thing that we've seen in the past. We'll leave some of the hard stuff in anyway.
Yeah, looking back on it on early in the week, we got here on Monday, and all week long they were calling for rain. By the way, Barry, there
is a leader, I believe. Is that Walker Fowler,
yeah,
I believe?
It looks like Walker.
Walker is making his way through the, what is that, the 9?
That's just before the 10-mile marker, yes.
Okay. All right.
Looks like he got a nice little gap on second place there.
30 seconds or better.
Wow.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Tell folks what the transition of this track was like this week.
We got here on Monday, and all week long they were calling for rain on Friday, so I keep that in mind whenever I'm laying the track out. When you're here that early before a race, there was always sometime they're going to call for rain, but it seemed pretty sure it was going to happen on Friday. So I tried to keep the uphills to a minimum, which does away with the bottlenecks, and bottlenecks are never good. So I kept that in mind all week, and there's no big hills out there, but just a lot of slippery trails. But all in all, I think the youth riders and 10 a.m. race today, everything went really smooth. So there's always the couple mud holes here, and we kept them in. We really didn't make many track changes, so things are going good.
Wow, I'm thinking that might be closer to 40 seconds now. We see Chris Borch making his way now near the 10-mile marker. So, yeah, you did a great job on the track. I know it's always a toss-up, especially when you got a weather forecast like that. But, Barry, while we got you here right now, our Hey Hawk question for the day comes from Claire McGill, at Mama McGill. She's listening, she's watching, she's wondering what's going on right now. We've got several of them. Actually, she just wanted to say hi. She just says, hashtag Hey Hawk, hi.
Hi, Mama McGill.
Here's another one. We've got, hey Hawk, you think Walker could win a bike, an ATV championship like you?
Well, I know when I first met Walker a few years ago, he was part of the M-Pro team whenever I was still racing, and he definitely has some bike skills, but I think his focus is winning this ATV championship, and I think he's really young, and down the road, who knows, he could transition over just like I did. I never set out to win a bike championship. I started riding bikes to help me on the ATVs, and but who knows? I mean, like I said, he's young enough. He could do it in the future.
And he is a bike star, like you say. That came from Alec Matthews at Fast Hermit 738 on Twitter, by the way. Another hashtag Hey Hawk. Coming from Connor Freed. Hey Hawk, if you were racing right now, how far ahead would you be?
Minutes. I'd be minutes ahead because I knew the track. Until my arms, I'd be ahead for about 5 minutes, and then my arms would pump up, and then I'd end up being about in 20th place. But great question. Different times when these guys are out there racing, whenever there's a good battle, I would like to be out there with those guys, but it's short-lived. It's one of those things where if I was with those guys and battle with them rub elbows for a couple turns and then pull off and just drive away. my days of racing, you know, for 2 hours, 3 hours, they're over.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, that's great, and you're a great analyzer too, and you're a great storyteller, because the days of your 2 and 3 hour extravaganzas were pretty interesting. I have a Hey Hawk question for myself that we'll talk about. Here's one more from Haley McGill. It says, "Hey Hawk, I dare you to make a mud angel at the mud hole while screaming, 'I love GNCC racing.'"
I've done a mud angel before when I won the WISP GNCC, so that was one of those things where it's one and done. So I can't do that anymore.
Good
but
point.
Good question, Haley. I don't know if you was at WISP. I don't know, but maybe like 07, 08, something like that. But it's been done.
That's pretty cool. And my question, Hey Hawk, when's the last time that you remember an ATV championship being this tight, coming down to the final 2 rounds?
Man, I gave it some thought, and I think the last time I remember it coming down to the end like this, that I could be wrong, but I think it was 1993 with myself and Bob Sloan, and actually at the one round from the high point was the next to last round, and then the last round would have been in Greenville, Tennessee. Well, at High Point, I don't remember exactly how I finished, if I got first or second, but I end up, whenever I left that event, they said I won a championship. So we went out and celebrated Saturday night, and, you know, first time championship on an ATV, and, you know, everybody partied, had fun, great time. When I showed up to track on Sunday, Rita Coombs had a look on her face, and I told my wife, Kristen, I said, man, this isn't good. And come to find out, there was a miscalculation in points, so I did not win that championship that day. It went down to the last round in Greenville, Tennessee, and myself and Bob Sloan went back and forth all day. I got a flat tire on the first lap. He got a flat tire on the second lap, and Steve Holbert was leading the race, and Steve ended up getting a flat, but it all boiled down to I got Bob with about 2 miles to go, and I rode scared all the way to the finish and ended up winning that day and ended up winning the championship. So actually I got to celebrate 2 times for winning the championship in 1993.
Your first championship, you celebrated twice.
Yep,
that's
for
pretty
sure.
Cool. Wow, that's pretty good to take it down to the wire like that, and I know that it's a lot more story to tell than that right there, but congratulations on that win back then.
Thank
and
you,
everything
sir.
that's taken place since then to bring you to where you are now and to where we are right now. And Barry, thanks again for all that you do for GNCC Racing, from the standpoint of racing all the way through your career to what you're doing right now with putting these tracks together and help bringing these races together with obviously assisting Jeff Russell and all those guys you got working with you, man. I mean, you guys work hard, and it's obvious.
Yep, it's massive amounts of work. You know, back when I raced ATV and then transitioned to the bike side, and then whenever I retired at the end of 2010, and then I decided to help these guys out. And I mean, I've done GNCC so long, I know all the ins and outs, but I really had no clue how much work goes into it. And daylight to dark from Monday till the following Monday, it's you know, it's wide open, but I love it, and great sport, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Dang, man, you work 8 days a week. That's crazy.
Daylight to dark.
Daylight to dark, 8 days a week. That's Barry Hawk. Hardworking individual, no doubt about it. This is our Hey Hawk segment. Be sure and tune in tomorrow, as we'll be doing it again on the bike side of things. And, of course, as we check in the situation right now, an hour and 36 and a half minutes into this one, Walker Fowler nearly 40 seconds ahead of Chris Borich at this point. Oh, wait a minute. Is that the case? Oh, well, they haven't checked in yet. They were 20 seconds last time. I calculate nearly 40 seconds as they're due in here in a couple moments, and we'll be back with more GNCC Live in just a moment.
Your coolant. One of the most important things is almost always overlooked. Evans coolant is the first coolant to be 100% waterless. What does this mean? It means a higher boiling point to keep your bike running cooler. No hot spots, corrosion, or buildup on your engine to eliminate excess wear and tear, to save you money, and to make your engine run longer at peak performance. For more information, visit our new website, evanschooling.com.
love racing, all kinds of racing? How about pro motocross, flat track, road race, ATV, GNCC, Supermoto, Enduro Cross? Well, we've got what you're looking for. Welcome to the Racer X Show with Greg White, presented by Chaparral Motorsports. New every Tuesday on RacerTV.com.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
This Thanksgiving week, RacerTV.com brings you live bar-to-bar action of the 43rd Annual Thor Winter Olympics from Gatorback Cycle Park in Gainesville, Florida. The live telecast begins with Supercross qualifying on Monday and culminates with Motocross Championships on Saturday. Tune in November 24th through the 29th for a week of premier amateur motocross and supercross racing. Don't miss your chance to watch the stars of tomorrow. The 43rd Annual Thor Winter Olympics, only on RacerTV. CC Live here on RacerTV.com. Rodney Tomlin along with Fred Andrews and also Jen Kenyon, our Jenny on the spot, whom we haven't heard anything from today. I don't know what she's got going on, but she was eating just a few moments ago. I know she's been talking to the Borch pits a little bit. I guess there's not a whole lot to be said, to be honest with you. There's not been a lot of action. We haven't had any breakdowns. We haven't seen anything crazy and wild happen other than what we see with Bryson Neal and Jay Shadron and Adam McGill working their way up from like 9th, 10th, and like 13th place position. I mean, that craziness going on back there, but who knows what's happened.
Something totally off mark, Rodney. Where Rodney, the flag guy standing there at the finish, he's got himself a spot that's rock hard. And there's mud all around him, but he's got a nice one dry spot. And two, Rodney, I was noticing when we were showing the pit of the pit area, I saw that Ampro Yamaha guys, Walker Fowler crew there. I could see their gas cans there, and to me, I thought they were full. So I think we did guess right. I think Walker did actually go by and not gas that last time, so he should probably be fueling this lap, which will give us a little bit of excitement.
Well, you know, what could be even more excitement is if maybe he miscalculated his fuel mileage. We talked about that last time. Did he do it last time? The conditions are totally different, and I don't think that's so much the case today. But it could very well be as we watch our finish line region now.
And, you know, it is a little bit longer today. It looks like we're, an hour and 36 minutes, almost hour and 40 minutes into the race. So today's going to be a little bit longer than normal.
White flag is out. Walker Fowler checking in. Last time around, well, actually, Chris Borch is in also. Last time around, they were in the 32-minute or 35-minute. Walker's now down to a 34:15. Oh, my gosh. Chris Borch, a minute and 33 seconds back. 35:28 lap time. No wonder I'm sitting here wondering where in the world was Walker. Did we miss him? And no, we didn't. He is just so far ahead of everyone right now. A minute and 33 seconds. I haven't seen this in ATV racing and GNCC in quite some time unless there be something crazy off the wall take place in the early part of the race. Now, we've seen it a little bit, but not to this kind of – I think it's a statement that's being made, and maybe not a statement that's being made, but just a battle cry, so to speak, at Walker Fowler. He says, I'm coming to this one. I'm coming to have fun. There's no pressure on me. It's everything to gain for me and nothing to lose. And we can see that pressure is starting to weigh very heavy on the 5-time defending GNCC champion, Chris Borch.
You know, too, and I think, Chris, maybe he wasn't on his best game today, and he said, okay, you know what? Walker's rolling right now. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take second. We're going to be even. I'm going to go home. I'm going to change a few things up, shake the tree, and the last race this is it. It's going to be a one race championship.
Yeah, and I think that Borch, if I'm not mistaken, is like the winningest rider at the Ironman GNCC. So, I mean, he knows that trail. I don't necessarily recall that he won this past year, but I know that out of all the years that he's been going and we've been going to the Ironman, that
Chris Borich has been basically about the winningest guy over there, so he's going into some comfortable territory. There is Robinson checking in, by the way. Cole Robinson is Richardson. I'm sorry, I said Robinson. Cole Richardson has taken over the lead now. He was 0.2 of a second behind Marshall Goings at the end of lap 2. At the end of lap 3, he is 13.5 seconds ahead now. Got to wonder if maybe they did the whole switcheroo on the pit stop with Cole Richardson like they did with Walker Fowler there. Looking for Fred Marley in third, Ryland Johnson in fourth, and Tommy Kuntz to round out the top 5 in the XC2 Pro-Am. Overall, let's look at our top amateur. It looks like Bryson Hobbs out of Greenfield, Ohio, College A, 16 to 21-year-old rider. Bryson right now is running in the number 19 spot overall, and he is our top finishing or top riding right now. Non-XC1 or XC2 class rider. It's what we call our amateur overall, top amateur, and that's looks like Bryson is in the market to maybe be in control of that here today as we continue to motor along. An hour and 40, almost 44 minutes into this one. 27 minutes. Let's talk a little bit about this. This race is going to go long. Had we went with 3 laps, we would have been about probably at least 7 minutes or so short of what we needed to be at least to get to the 145 mark. And going now longer at 144 and 27.5 minutes still to go, you take 15 off of that. We're looking at about a 2 hour and 10 or 13 minute race right now. And that's pretty long for an ATV race.
Yeah, Rodney, it sure is. You know, on a day like today, anything can happen out there, so I'm sure Walker's going, shoot, wish it would have been shorter. And maybe Chris is going, well, you know, maybe this extra lap, something will get caught with some lappers and I'll be able to catch up. So, you know, this longer race can go either way, but, you know, we always have to go by the rules, and the rules say they got to be a certain amount of time. So, and if it's over, it's over, and, you know, we'll see who's really in the best shape.
Now, if we look at this, and traditionally the ATV somehow or another generally run a 4-lap race. I mean, that's nothing out of the ordinary for those riders. The only difference is these laps are a little bit longer than some of our ATV laps, by about 6 or 7 minutes to be exact. And Fred, I just got to ask, I know the mindset of a racer. We've talked about this before, you know, in fatigue, you know, you're coming around, you're wanting to see that 2-lap board, or you're wanting to see that white flag, or whatever the case may be. At some point, whenever you get to this point in the race, is the time factor starting to wear and tear on your body, or is it the mental factor of what lap you're on that is taking its most toll?
Well, I think it's the time factor, Rodney, because the lap you're on, your body doesn't care what lap you're on. Your body starts to get tired at a certain time every race. You know, it's used to going just under 2 hours. Well, now when it hits that mark, when it's used to start relaxing, well, now all of a sudden it's got to go on. So you got to just push yourself through that little bit. And right now, Walker Fowler's going to have no problem going the extra amount of time. His body's not tired. Now he's riding really good. He's feeling strong, so he's going to be on it, and it probably won't even affect him. It's going to more affect the slower guys in the class, because some of them are even going to go longer than Walker. If Walker goes for 2:15, there's going to be some guys that are even going to be going further. And as you can see, they're coming in for the pit right now.
Walker Fowler into the pits nonchalantly, man. He does not look to be under pressure whatsoever, and he should be riding just like that right now. I mean, he should be riding like he owns the race, because right now he does own about 1.5 minutes worth of racetrack in this race, and that's a lot when you're talking about even Chris Borich.
Yeah, Rodney, and you saw too. Those guys really didn't mess around. He didn't do anything abnormal in the pit. He got gas. They were spraying his radiator out with some water, and he took off. There was no, you know, extra time in the pit. He still knows that anything can happen, so he wanted to get in and out as quick as he could.
Most definitely, and right there we see the big white transporter just before the Walker Fowler pits is the pits of Chris Borich. Remember, a lap ago he pitted, got gas, switched goggles, but immediately threw those goggles off, and that could probably maybe account for this 1.5 minute gap that we're seeing now, even more of a gap. And like you said, it might be a situation where he sees what's going on, doesn't want to push the envelope, knows what needs to be changed, and going to go back to work and be ready for the Ironman. You know, amazingly, though, the last 2 rounds of racing, we had rear rotors for Chris Borich, which took away his rear brakes. We have not heard any indications of any mechanical failures or any mechanical problems on the part of Chris Borch in this race. This has been a heads-up, straight-up, head-to-head battle race that we've seen between Walker and Chris today. And, man, I tell you, Walker has really risen to the occasion.
Yeah, Walker's really stepped his game up here, and like I said, we don't know anything that happened to Chris. It could have been just more getting stuck behind a few guys and lost time, or he just lost his concentration and wants to settle just for second because it's, a tie is a tie, and it's going to come down to the last race, and he still doesn't have goggles on. I thought maybe, he saw his dad Joe out there somewhere and put goggles on, but Chris says, nope, I don't want any, and he's just powering to the finish.
Wow, Bryson Neal running in third a lap ago has dropped to sixth. Adam McGill, who was fifth, has moved up to the number 3 spot. Jay Shadron holds steady in the number 4 spot, and Jay is in a pretty good position right now, only 1.6 seconds behind McGill for that third place position. Remember, he's riding in the memory of his friend, the 591 of LP, as we call little Pat McGuire. And, man, what an amazing feat it would be to be able to ride that machine to the podium today. If he was able to do it on this particular day in LP's memory, it would be just an awesome feat in his part. But he's got to get around some experience there in Adam McGill in order to make that happen. But looking at lap times, they're almost identical lap times, and I guess it's probably going to be as much anything on this final lap as luck that will win out in this one, I think.
Yeah, Rodney, that's a great 3-rider battle there with McGill, Shadron, and McClure. Those guys are all turning close lap times, and they're all together. So
and Neil was right there also.
Yeah, so, we got 4 guys fighting for that podium, Rodney, here in Ohio, and it's starting to cloud up a little bit. The breeze is blowing again. I'm starting to get a little cold. Hopefully we're not going to get any more rain in here today because it looks like it's drying out pretty good and going to be a great day for the motorcycles tomorrow.
Well, Jared McClure, the number 10, we've seen a lot out of this year. We call him the sneaky snake, Fred, believe it or not. He's kind of snuck his way in there quietly and been a threat and a podium contender. Actually been on the podium the last 3 rounds, if memory serves me correct. We had a chance to catch up with him before the race got underway today.
Yeah, my goals for the last 2 races this season, definitely just get my JMR DWT Honda up on the box again. I had that string of 3 podiums there coming after Unadilla, and had a little bad luck last race with the dust. So, definitely want to try to get back in the top 3 for these last 2 races. I do good usually in the mud, and we got some rain here at Powerline, so kind of looking forward to going out here today and just having fun and getting up there with those top guys.
Well, as we look at this now, I'm trying to remember, has Jay Shadron, I don't think did Jay get top 3 overall earlier this year? I can't recall if he did or not. We might, if that's the case, we've got 5 riders that have all seen the podium or possibly could see the podium here in 2014. Pretty interesting stuff. That's a good deep talent field as far as the ATV racing is concerned. And right now we watch this. Walker Fowler, Chris Borch, Adam McGill, Jay Shadron, Jared McClure, Bryson Neal. The battle, Adam McGill, Shadron, McClure, and Neal. Now 2 minutes, 12 seconds back is the gap back to, Adam McGill from Chris Borch. Another minute and 33 seconds. That means that Walker Fowler is nearly 4 minutes ahead of the battle for third place right now. Think the kid came in on a mission today?
Yeah, I think Walker came here for sure, and he just came to make up those points, show everybody that he's for real, and he's got that momentum going, and he wants to keep it going, Rodney. And he got the lead early, and I thought, maybe Chris would want to run him down because that's Walker's, that's what he's been doing. Walker's been getting the lead, he's been getting away, and nobody's been staying with him. And then when Chris came off second, I figured Chris would stay with him. But, Chris had a little bit of trouble staying or had a little bad luck, and Walker sneaked his way away, and, man, he's really out there now.
Man, I can only imagine what it's going to be like in the Borch compound over the course of the next 2 weeks.
I think...
I mean, here you're talking about Chris Borch, who gets shaken if you just tease a little bit and talk about, hey, it looks like they're coming to get you. It looks like they're dinking the armor a little bit. That always kind of messed him up in the head a little bit, and he'd get a little bit aggravated about it. Now you got to wonder what kind of mind games he's playing with himself,
Yeah, I think he's going to go home, and he knows he's working as hard as he can. He's doing everything he can, but it's just not happening right now. And, he's just trying to figure out what's that missing piece. What is he doing wrong? Or does he need to get a rabbit-footed in his shoe or what?
something because, in talking to Chris, he's even said, I haven't changed my program up in the last 4 years. Nothing's changed any different in the off season, in the on season when he practices, how he trains. None of that stuff has changed any whatsoever, and you got to wonder, maybe it's time for a little change in the 2015 off season.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Everything changes. Everybody starts to get a little bit better. Everybody gets a little faster, and he's never had competition. Now Walker stepped up, and Walker's really running with him, and I think that's making Chris a better rider than what he even was before. So they're just pushing each other, and they're learning new limits of what they can and what they can't do.
Limits, pushing the limits, and that's what it takes sometimes to win this championship. We've seen the limits pushed by both riders, and not only both those riders, but nearly all the riders that line up in this XC1 class here in 2014. It's as if a new life has been breathed into the competition of this when it all of a sudden became apparent that, Chris is going to win, but he isn't going to win them all. And then all of a sudden it became apparent that, wow, other people can win. Now we've got 2 and 3 and 4 different guys that have been winning. And, I look back over history, and traditionally, Chris Borich has lost as many as 4 or 5 races a year, kind of like what we're seeing right now. But in the past, the only difference is whenever someone would win behind him, it was always someone different. They never had the opportunity to close that gap on points on him. So he was able to keep that soft cushion. But that's not so much the case this year with the consistency that we've seen out of the young Walker Fowler.
Yeah, talk about pushing it. I think Adam McGill, Shadron, and McClure, and even Neil, those guys are that's where the race is right now. Those guys can see each other, and then they're just going head to tail, and, one's going one way, one's going the other. I think, man, right there, those guys' adrenaline has got to be flowing so hard right now. It'd be cool to get some pictures of them because they're making stuff happen right now.
17 minutes is what we're still due to wait before the checker come out. And at this point, though, there may not be any pressure on him and nothing to lose and everything to gain, I'm sensing that these final 15 minutes or so could be kind of hair-raising for not only Walker but probably for the pit crew over here, as they are witnessing something that hasn't been seen since 1993.
For sure Walker's pit crew is right now, they're the ones on edge. Walker, he's in total control. He knows what's going on, and that's part of being a racer. If something would happen and, his bike would break, at least he knows it. Where the pit crew, man, they never know what's going on out there. So when you're a rider, you're in control of your own destiny, and the pit crew, they're always on pins and needles until that rider comes to the finish. They all got it on the clock right now. They all know when he should be coming, so they're counting the seconds down, the minutes, and hoping he comes around.
So everyone headed, I'm sure, over toward the finish line region. Cole Richardson, by the way, running in the number 7 spot overall, leading the XC2 Pro-Am. Marshall Goings is 8th overall, 2nd in the XC2. Fred Marley 3rd is 14th. 15th is 4th place ride in the XC2 Pro-Am. Rylan Johnson and Tom Kuntz rounds out your top 5. He's back in 17th overall aboard the 47. And looks like we got a new contender in the top amateur today. It is Vet A 28 plus class rider Matt Pierce. Matt used to be a few years ago an XC2 rider, if memory serves me correct. So it looks like he's gone back and slacked off of his training and slacked off of his racing and trying to have a little bit of fun out here. And that's a good way to do it, man. Come back and ride some of those age classes.
Yeah, Rodney, especially with this time of the year, everybody gets a little bit more excitement to ride. The tracks are always a little bit nicer and a little bit moisture in the ground, a lot of fun. And, this is the time of year I like to start riding again. I don't ride a whole bunch anymore, but, when the ground's good and the leaves are falling and it's just something in the air that makes it so much more fun.
For sure. And right now 15 minutes exactly from a anticipated arrival of the leader, Walker Fowler, who is 1 minute and 33 seconds ahead of Chris Bort, 2nd place, who is 2 minutes and 12 seconds ahead of Adam McGill, who is only 1 second ahead of Jay Shadron, who is only a few more seconds ahead of Jared McClure, who is only 1/10 of a second ahead of Bryson Neal. Talk about a tight battle going on out there for that number 3 position. That one right there is one of those where it would be tough. It's a tough one to call. Watching and listening to the names that are involved in this one, you still don't know what to expect out of this one.
Yeah, Rodney, I'm sure those guys are going bumper to bumper, bumping into each other, you know, and just trying to make things happen and trying to get around each other. Because out there, the tracks are a little bit tighter for the quads. You know, they're only about quad wide, so they kind of got to wait for a guy to make a little mistakes before they pounce. And, man, they're really going at it, I'm sure.
And right now we are on our white flag lap, what we call the Racer X final lap, giving that final push, if you will. We'll be announcing a Twitter winner coming up here real soon, and we'll also be taking a look at the Can-Am recap, which basically is pretty much what you see, I think, at this point. There hasn't been a lot of changes. And
yeah, Rodney, for sure. You know, the recap of the race, Fowler got out there, did what he had to do, and I thought Chris got where he needed to be in second and thought he was going to put the pressure on, and it just didn't seem to happen today. And I think, you know, maybe he knows it's not that way, and he's just going to, like we said earlier, collect his points, take a second, go in the last round where he's won a lot, and I think you're right on that too. I think he's won there more than anybody, so he's familiar with that track. He's got confidence, and maybe that'll be the difference between, you know, this race in Indiana. Maybe he really doesn't feel that comfortable here in Indiana. It's his track, and that's what he's going to go for his extra oomph that he needs to win this championship again.
no doubt, and you have to think that doing it that way would probably be that probably a little more satisfying and gratifying, knowing that you had that competition and rose to the occasion. If you think about it, and I'm not taking anything away from Chris Borch because he's been that much better than everybody for so long, he hasn't had any competition up until the last year or so, to be honest with you.
Yep, you're right, Ron. He's kind of got out the early lead in the year, and he's had a whole big old bunch of points to pad, and he just kind of cruised around and still won some races. And now Walker said, you know what, I'm stepping my game up. I've learned a lot over the winter and got a good team behind me with the Ampro Yamaha guys, and I'm coming after you, and that's what's happened this year. So, you know, it's made racing a lot better for everybody. Now you never know who's going to win, and it's more exciting, and then they're passing here and there. And then we've got Adam McGill stepping up, and Shadron and McClure and Neil and everybody. So it shows that the GNCC and the ATV side of it's really grown, and there's anybody can win. You know, our sports just doesn't have one guy that totally dominates anymore, and there's a lot of guys coming up to take their spots.
They most certainly are. Let's go ahead. We kind of started at Can-Am recap. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Can-Am recap, where of course, we want to say thanks to our friends at Can-Am, the ultimate ride you can experience for yourself. Stop by your local Can-Am dealer where you can experience the ride for as low as $149 a month on select models. Can-Am, the ride says it all. As far as the recap is concerned, I think Fred pretty much summed up what happened up there up front behind the first and second place battle of Walker Fowler and, of course, Chris Borch. Has been the battle for the number 3 spot. They have slowly stretched the lead out over that one. Brent Sturdivant, who got the whole shot in this one whenever the green flag went, was actually riding in the number 3 position for a good portion, through lap number 1 and a good portion of lap number 2 before finally he was overtaken by a couple of youngsters who were riding back in about 8th and 9th place and even all the way back in 13th. We're talking about riders like again, Jay Shadron and also Bryson Neal. And not only that, but back in 13th place position at the end of that first lap was Adam McGill, the 521. McGill, since that time, moved up to the number 5 spot behind Bryson Neal, who was in 3rd, and Jay Shadron in 4th. And at the end of lap 3, we check in. McGill was in 3rd. Jay Shadron was still 4th. Jared McClure moved into 5th. Bryson Neal was in 6th, and the Bidwell Bullet, looking to score his second consecutive podium, may have just seen that slip away. But then we look at the time on that one, Fred, and we are right smack dab in the middle of another barn burner. It may not be up front, but it is for that final podium spot. And I think this one could be just as exciting as any race for a win could be here today.
Oh, yeah, Rodney, for sure. Those guys are fighting over it to get on the podium. You know, just being on the podium on a day like today with the competition in that class is an awesome feat, and all those guys, they want to be that guy.
They do. They do. And amazingly, there are so many that want to be that guy. There are so many that believe they can be that guy. This XC1 ATV class is so full of young talent. It isn't even funny. I mean, if you look down through the ranks here, you've got 21-year-old Walker Fowler. You got 19-year-old Braden Henthorn. You got 19-year-old Bryson Neal, 18-year-old Jay Shadron, 21-year-old Joshua Merritt, 20-year-old Landon Wolf, and everybody else in that class, all 25 years of age or older, including Chris Borch, who is, believe it or not, 32 years old. That's not really old, but when you start looking at it, no wonder Walker Fowler calls him the old man. That's 11 years difference, 21 and 32 years old. Is he really that old, or is that a mistype?
Well, then you're looking at, too, and I'm looking at old Johnny Gallagher, Ohio boy here. He's 36 years old, still going at it. And that's, that just shows how much he enjoys motorcycles and racing his quad and being out here enjoying all these people, that he's still going that strong after this many years.
Yes, it is. It is 3 decades he has raced in the 90s, the 2000s, and 2010s. I believe he has raced for, I think this is either his 20th or his 21st professional racing season. He is lined up in the XC1 Pro class for 21 years or 20 years, an amazing feat to say the least. That's why we call him Johnny GNCC instead of Johnny G anymore.
Yeah, and Johnny's dad, he was a great racer back in the day, and he raced for a long time, and he started racing quads. So, it's in Johnny's blood.
It is. It most certainly is. And I can remember times here at Powerline Park talking to Big John Gallagher, and it's, just saying that brings a smile to my face, Fred. Thanks for bringing that man up, because certainly a man that we lost way too soon in the off season, unfortunately in a work-related accident. But his heart, I think that he and Big Dave were very close. They worked a lot together a lot of times. They had a lot of arguments, but they also had a lot of agreements and stuff. But they both were in it for the same reason, and that was for the love of GNCC racing. And if not for guys like Big Dave Coombs and racers like Big John Gallagher, we wouldn't have what we have here today.
Yeah, Big Dave was always an enjoyment to be out there with him. When you're walking the track, you'd find him, and well, at least I would. He'd be sitting on the side of the track, and he'd be smoking a cigar, and he'd say, "Hey, what do you think?" or "How's things going?" And I really got to like Big Dave. I knew him as a motocross guy, but then when I got into the off-road world, he was here, and he was always fun to be around and be with, and he was just like a tough old guy, and then he brought a lot to the sport, and like I said, he cared about us and always wanted our input, and that's what made the GNCC so great, because he cared about us, and he didn't think he knew everything. What do you guys think I should try different? And he would listen to us, and it was great to be with him. That's one guy I miss for sure.
For sure. 2 hours and nearly 5 minutes now into this race. We are still almost 7 minutes out from being scheduled at the finish line. So,
and there's Walker Fowler on the infield for us.
Yep, so Fowler is there, and it took him, some 5 minutes or so on this last lap. And here on the Racer X last lap, got to wonder what this final push here to the checkers is going to be like for him. A minute and 33 seconds. I got to wonder if he's going to be looking at something. Well, I would venture to say that 2 minutes would not be out of the realm. And I got to wonder, man, I wonder who's won our Twitter contest now. We got a lot of folks hashtagging GNCCLive with their podium predictions. I'm sure that we'll know more about that, who's going to be the winner. If you haven't done so, go ahead. You still got just a couple of seconds to get in. Hashtag Live, GNCC Live, for your chance to win your own $250 in AMSOIL product, courtesy of AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. You don't have to be right; you just got to be in the contest. Got to enter to win. And hashtag GNCC Live will get you into that. Right now, 5.5 minutes, 2 hours 5, almost 2 hours and 6 minutes now, as we watch. And still wait for Chris Borch, and I'm still going into the realm of the 2 minutes, possibly plus range. And Fred, what you were saying there is starting to make a whole lot of sense. Chris is like, okay, just back her down. We'll take it to the Ironman, and that's, it's a winner-take-all situation there. And the cool thing about that, neither one of them have to win the race there. They just, whoever finishes ahead of the other one, And unless neither one of them scored points, and then I would know what would happen.
I don't think that's going to happen. But, on this last lap, I think Walker's doing exactly what he did to all the other laps. Walker's not backing out of it all. He's still going forward. And, Chris maybe already settled in, saying, you know what, I got second place here. I'm going to go to Ironman and see what happens. And, Walker's got things going. He's not going to slow down and mess up anything he's got going today. So he's just, like you said, I wouldn't see 2 minutes wouldn't be a stretch for sure.
No, and just walking in front of the RacerTV studios is the members of Ampro Yamaha, Mark Notman. There comes Chris Borch now down through the trees heading into that big field section. But Mark Notman a little bit of swagger in his step as he walked down through there. You know, oftentimes, you know, we give so much credit to the racers, and obviously they deserve it. There's no doubt about it, because when the chips are down, they're the one that's actually making it all happen. But there's not a great racer, I don't think, without a great team and great support behind him. I mean,
you got to have
mechanics.
support, and like you're saying, I think part what you're leading up to is these guys, they put so much work into the bike for the racer to race. So when he's doing good, man, you just feel so good inside knowing that you are part of his career. You helped him get to where he's at.
Yeah.
You know, you're racing through him right now.
You are, and that's okay. That's why, that's the great thing about it, because teamwork is what makes all the efforts all worth it. And it's what makes the celebration so much more exciting, because if there's only one happy guy in the room, then it's not nearly as exciting unless you have several happy guys in the room, because everybody does their part. Dad, mom, whoever. They all do their part.
Yeah, you know, you surround yourself with good people, good things are going to happen.
And
that's what Walker's got. You know, you got assembled a good group with you, and everybody's working together good. And, you know, like you say, he wins. He's been winning. He's on a roll right now, and we're going to see if it's going to carry over into Indiana or not. You know, I'm sure Chris is going to – he's surrounded with good people too, so everything good is going on there. So they're going to go back and try to figure out what that little missing link is, and maybe it is that Chris Borch knows Indiana. He knows the ins and outs. He likes the dirt. He likes the hills. He likes the people, and you know that's what's going to make him rise to the occasion and put this thing to bed.
Less than 3 minutes away from when we expect to see Walker Fowler in the finish line region and staking his claim in history to bring together a tie in GNCC ATV racing with 1 round left to go, a feat that has not happened in over 20 years, and maybe even in the entire lifespan of GNCC ATV racing have we had this kind of scenario heading into the final round as what we have got going on right now. A deadlock, dead even tie. 0 points either way around for those riders. This is the kind of championship season that we dream about, the ones that we speculate about at the beginning of the year, Fred, the ones that we hope for, the one that, you know, we think or hope is going to happen, but we never dream the possibility will ever become possible, and it does. I mean, it's just amazing. Here we are. Well, I mean, we aren't there yet. We're still a little less than 2 minutes away, but, I mean, basically, we're right there.
Yeah, Rod, and if you would have said at the beginning of the year that Walker and Chris Borch should be tied going to the last race, I think everybody would have started laughing. There's no way there was going to be a championship decided by the last round. There's no way it would be tied, and here we are. It's tied, and that's just an awesome thing, and it's going to be an exciting race for everybody. You know, whoever wins that race, there's going to be a lot of happy faces, and even if you didn't win that race, and if they would come in 1-2, the guy in second's got nothing to hang his head down. He better hang his head high because he gave it everything he had, and that's what it's all about.
Well, traditionally, we ready ourselves for podium celebrations that would incorporate the crowning of a national champion with our XC1 Pro class here in Ohio. That is not the case here today, as Walker Fowler has done what many have deemed impossible. Walker Fowler has done what many never dreamed would be done. Many folks thought that Chris Borch would end his career basically as strong as he finished it, but of course many folks did not reckon with the idea that on the back burner was a whole wave of youth riders that worked their way through the youth ranks, through the amateur ranks, and now into the XC1 and XC2 ranks, and they are starting to make waves. They are starting to make a name for themselves. And the man that leads it all out, the one that won the new era of GNCC youth racing for the first time when we held it in, I believe, 2005 in Indiana, Walker Fowler is staking his claims here, my friend, as the first youth ATV champion, positioning himself for the first time ever as a overall XC1 Pro champion here in the great GNCC racing nation. As we look at the clock, 14 seconds late, but I believe we'll see the switch over in just a moment as Ricky Towery waits with bated breath, as anticipated as I believe any and everyone is here, wondering whether or not he's going to make it. And the crowd has gathered round. You can tell
they're all
that
starting
there's
to
going to
point.
Yep, they're starting to point. And, of course, as we watch the final few turns and Ricky Towery, this right here, my friends, will be a very historical checker flag as we watch Ricky Towery with that white flag in hand right now. The white flag is still in hand. Some lap traffic ahead of him, but here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together, rounding the final few turns into these final chicanes, heading home for checkers. Could he be, will he be, the new champion? We know right now he is your Powerline Park GNCC champion. He is now tied for first place in the points race with Chris Borch. And what an amazing, amazing day. What an amazing 2014 AMSOIL GNCC season. What a crazy turn of events, I think that some people may be saying, but just like clockwork is what so many other folks are saying. As we head down now where Jen Kenyon stands by to get the first words from Walker Fowler in this history-making moment. Jen?
That's right, Rodney. I'm sitting here right now. I'm going to wait for Walker Fowler to at least get his helmet off. He was unhooking himself from the tether cord, warming his hands up with the exhaust, as you see right here. We're going to give him just a couple of seconds, and then we're going to attack him. We want to find out what he's thinking right now, what's going through his mind, as he pretty much is making history right now, tying the ATV championship points. Walker, I'm just going to go ahead and stick this microphone in your face right now. How are you feeling after that one?
I feel pretty darn good, I'm not going to lie.
You had such a big crowd of people over here anticipating, waiting and waiting for you to come through the finish line, and as soon as you came in sight, the whole place was in an uproar. That's got to be a good feeling.
Ohio's a pretty awesome state. These fans are just top-notch. They know we're the hometown crowd, and it's just awesome that everyone can come here and support us. We are literally sitting on this championship's door, and I can't honestly even tell you how it feels. Still just trying not to think about it. We're riding so good. This machine is absolutely phenomenal, and I don't know. I wish I knew what I was doing different. I don't. We're just going out. We're having fun and living the dream, having a blast. And I don't know. This is it's unreal. Like I said, I can't thank the whole NFAB and Pro Yamaha, Maxxis Tires, Lone Star Racing, MXP powered Yamaha crew enough. This is awesome.
All right, Walker, well, congratulations again. We're going to let you warm up a little bit. We're going to get you back on the podium. We're going to find out some more about today's race. So, Rodney, we'll send it up to you, and we'll get the rest of our guys coming through the finish line.
Wow, I'm still reveling in all this right now, and Jen Kenyon gets the first historical words with Walker Fowler as he just did what many, like we said, deemed impossible. Believe it or not, well, it's possible. Superman has found his kryptonite, my friends, and Chris Borch, though, still, I'm sure, right where he needs to be heading into this final round. We've talked about it. It may be a tie, but it ain't over. Chris Borch has not lost this championship yet. And even looking at his face, you can tell there's no sense of urgency. Maybe a little bit stressed, more so than what he normally would be at this juncture in the season, because now is the time that he would be heading over to receive that national #1 plate. That's not the case here this year. So I think, honestly, he's doing a pretty good job of not showing too much emotion. I think he's a true mature champion.
Yeah, Rodney, I think he had that whole last lap to think about the whole situation. You know that Walker was out there far ahead, and he wasn't going to catch up to him, so he probably ran through this whole race or the whole season through his head on that last lap, knowing what was going to go on. And, you know, he probably even slowed down a little bit and just cruised just to make sure he got second, knowing that, you know, Indiana was going to be his day. And I think Adam McGill really made up a big push on that last lap.
He did. He most certainly did. A 35.09. McGill turned a faster lap than anybody on that lap. Actually about 20 seconds faster even than Walker Fowler. The gap of 2 minutes, 28 seconds between Walker Fowler and Chris Borch, and 57 seconds back to Adam McGill in the #3 spot. And we have got three veterans on the podium, so to speak. Jared McClure ends up in the #4 spot. Jay Shadron riding the Project 591 machine will round out the top 5. Aboard the number 11, well, his number is 11, but he's riding the 591 today. But he'll finish up in 5th. Bryson Neal, I believe, will check in. No, he is not checked in the #6 spot just yet. As we watch Adam McGill right now get the high fives from Marky, his pops there, and you know that he's pretty happy.
Yeah,
He
you know,
says,
you know, Adam McGill is usually all cheerful and ready to talk, and right now you can see he gave it his all today,
He
Rodney.
did.
You can see him, he's taking some deep breaths, and he's just trying to catch his wind back a little bit, and he's definitely happy it's over.
No doubt. All the way back in 13th place position there at the end of lap number 1. Adam McGill battles his way back to 3rd place and finishes behind Chris Borge and Walker Fowler as history was made here today at the ITP Powerline Park GNCC. Let's find out how it was all made in just a few moments when we head down to Max's Victory Lane. Jen Kenyon will be back to talk with all 3 of these guys and more when we return with GNCC Live right after this.
Your coolant. One of the most important things is almost always overlooked. Evans coolant is the first coolant to be 100% waterless. What does this mean? It means a higher boiling point to keep your bike running cooler. No hot spots, corrosion, or buildup on your engine to eliminate excess wear and tear, to save you money, and to make your engine run longer at peak performance. For more information, visit our new website, evanschooling.com.
Love racing, all kinds of racing? How about pro motocross, flat track, road race, ATV, GNCC, supermoto, enduro cross? Well, we've got what you're looking for. Welcome to the RacerX Show with Greg White, presented by Chaparral Motorsports. New every Tuesday on RacerTV.com.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
This Thanksgiving week, RacerTV.com brings you live bar-to-bar action of the 43rd Annual Thor Winter Olympics from Gatorback Cycle Park in Gainesville, Florida. The live telecast begins with Supercross qualifying on Monday and culminates with Motocross Championships on Saturday. Tune in November 24th through the 29th for a week of premier amateur motocross and supercross racing. Don't miss your chance to watch the stars of tomorrow. The 43rd Annual Thor Winter Olympics, only on RacerTV.
And welcome back to the ITP Powerline Park GNCC. It's the finale of, the final of this race has come to a conclusion, and we are basically awaiting winners in the XC2 Pro-Am class right now. We actually have them in. Marshall Goings did it.
Wow.
He did it. He was, had fallen back 10 seconds or so behind Cole Richardson heading into the final lap. Marshall had led pretty much the entire way around, but then that lap 3 he didn't, and now he's at the checkers back out front. So Marshall takes the win, Cole Richardson in second, and all of a sudden we've got a two-way tie in the XC2 class as well. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Fred Marley looking for that rider to finish in the number 3 spot in just a moment. But wow, Fred, I mean, what's the likelihood of something like that happening? 2 teammates being tied for the XC1 and the XC2 classes going into the final round of racing. I mean, that's got to be something monumental and historical itself, I think.
Yeah, that's like, you know, getting all 7s in the slot machine in Vegas or something. It's just that stuff just doesn't happen like that, let alone in 2 classes, Rodney. That's unbelievable. And you know, those guys rode for 2 hours and 12 minutes today. So they had that was Walker Fowler's time out there. So that's a little bit longer than normal. And those guys, man, they really went after it today. And we're starting to get a little bit of sprinkle here. I was hoping the rain would kind of hold off for the racing tomorrow, but maybe a little bit of moisture coming in. But man, these guys really went after it today, and the track really held up well. I think this rain was the best thing for us for these guys, and they had some good wheel-to-wheel racing out there today, Rodney.
Well, Fred, final thoughts on this. Talk about it a little bit. I mean, taking into account the championship, the year, the championship itself, and today's race. What's some of the final thoughts that you can leave us with as a former champion yourself?
Man, right now I would think it's as that Walker's sitting right where he wants to be. He came in here and showed Chris Borch that all them races he won up to now, you know, Chris had a few problems here and there, bent some rotors, but it was head-to-head racing today, and Walker said, hey, this is where it's at, this is who I am, this is what I am, and I want your championship. I want that #1 plate next year, and, you know, I thought Chris would rise up to the occasion today and say, you know what, you're not going to get it without a real good fight. And Chris got off the line in second, kind of didn't hang with Walker, and Walker got away from him, and maybe Chris, like I said earlier, said, you know what, today's not my day, you know, Ironman is the place I love, and that's where I'm going to get my win, and this is where I'm going to get you back. And, you know, it's going to be exciting at that race for sure to see what happens, but as a champion, I think Walker Fowler's got a little bit of the upper hand right now if I was going into it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and the momentum inside of it anyway.
Yep.
And again, I don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks. Obviously we don't.
Nope.
But, man, I mean, to think, honestly, the story that Barry Hawk told a little while ago about the last time that we saw the championship come down to the final round like that was 1993 when he and Bob Sloan actually did that for that championship title. I think it's only fitting that it go down to the last round and it go to the Ironman GNCC, honestly, and which is named in honor of Bob the Ironman Sloan. So, you know, I mean, the history all just comes together, I think, there at once, and it's going to be monumental. The Indiana race fans are just off the scale #1. We have tens of thousands of race fans alone that just come and witness that race. I can only imagine what Saturday is going to be like when we roll in for the Ironman and a heated battle like this for the championship.
You know, Rodney, too, and I think the unsung hero of the day probably is Adam McGill.
Yeah.
You know, we had him down there at 13th, 14th the first lap, and I kind of looked and said, man, he really went fast that last week. I'm like, what happened to him? And all of a sudden, boom, there he was. You know, he just never gave up, dug deep, and rode as hard as he could all day long. And you know, like when he came across the finish, usually he's all smiles and he's ready to talk, but right there you could see that he had a tough day, but he accomplished what he wanted to. He got on the podium like he knew he should be and knew he could be, and man, he really rode hard today.
He did, and that shows a lot of maturity on the part of Adam McGill too, because, you know, being that far back, it's kind of tough to make up that much ground, and I mean, that to me shows a lot of maturity, and I think we've watched Adam McGill mature just over the course of the last 12 months, to be honest with you. From when we were here a year ago to this race today, there's been so much maturity on the part of Adam McGill, and I think a lot of it has come in the last 6 months, honestly.
Yeah, I think maybe he just has gotten a little bit older, a little bit wiser, like you said, because he used to be really hard on his equipment and things would break, or he'd run into this and run into that, and now he's kind of he has the game figured out, you know, smarter is better, and man, it's like the guys he came through, these are all great riders too, so he must have.
What about the rookies? What about the rookies? Let's talk a little bit about that. They showed some great glimpses of Bryson Neal, again, way back there, was in contention, fell back, but he's still right there in the hunt and in the strike. He wasn't too far off the pace. I mean, in the end, he lost a minute. I mean, he was right there within tenths of a second. He was a minute and 24 seconds back at the checkers, but I mean, that kid, I think he's real. I think he's real.
For sure he's real. You know, I think he ran up as high as like 3rd place, and to be fighting for a podium position on the last lap between 4 or 5 guys, that's a feat in itself, you know, and then anything can happen right there. When all those guys are that close together, one guy could get by a lapper, and the lapper could be holding the other guys up. So, you know, the last lap is, back when I raced, that's kind of where it was. The last lap was it. You know, Scott Summers and I would be going at it, and Scott Plessinger, and last lap we'd just be railing. You'd catch a slow guy, and one guy would get by, and you couldn't catch back up, and he'd win. But, man, these guys went at it all day long.
Well, Jay Shadron, another one, I got to toot this kid's horn too, because he made his way through the youth ranks, got up through the College A class, didn't even win the championship in the College A class, was a contender, but couldn't secure the championship, totally elected to skip the XC2 Pro-Am class. And this kid, we've seen some good rides out of him so far, maybe a good move on his part, I think.
Oh, for sure, Rodney. You know, I mean, he's in the top 5 in XC1 classes. He definitely didn't need to be in XC2. He's showed that he can run with these guys. And, you know, the longer you ride with the guys that like Borich or anybody like that, or, you know, you're going to learn something every time you ride.
For sure, and we're checking down to Max's Victory Lane where Jen Kenyon is standing by. Meanwhile, we have the XC2 Pro-Am making their way in. Marshall Goings, Cole Richardson, and Fred Marley going 1, 2, and 3 in that division. And ladies and gentlemen, and I guess I should say Ohio, get ready to make some noise for these boys on the podium today. Taking third place, the 5:21 of Adam McGill. In the number 2 spot, your 5-time and defending GNCC champion, Chris Borch. And in the center of the box, making history, tying the championship points race today, he is Ohio's own Walker Fowler. And I can hear the crowd clear over here at Jen Kenyon. They are going nuts over there for sure, as this is a pretty exciting day of GNCC racing and pretty historical as far as that goes. Let's go down and find out the stories from the horses' mouths themselves.
That's right, Rodney. You Ohio fans, you were in for a treat today. You saw a lot of great racing action, some history in the making, but first let's hear from Adam McGill, third place finisher. I think your race was pretty historic all in itself. You made such a comeback there from the beginning of the race. Take us through how it all went down for you.
Oh my God, it was horrible. I mean, I hit the start button, do one of the Epic McGill holies, and just it didn't do nothing. I think we got to put a switch on this Honda. I think it started, this cold weather kind of had a toll on it. So, you know, we fought back up. We got up into, I think, 5th or 6th on the first lap, put in some good lines, and was like, you know what, it's my day. I said, I'm going to roll with these guys today and hopefully get away from them. And got up there, and we got back out here where you pay to get in, and hit a slick road and overshot the turn a bit. Wolf come up and bumped me, and there I was stuck against the tree all the way back to the back again. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. I pulled in. They gave me goggles. My dad gave me fuel. I was like, this sucks so bad. And he's like, suck it up. He said, just ride. And so I just put my head down, got some fresh goggles. It was like a whole new start for the day. And man, I just, you know, it felt awesome. I was so happy with how everything turned out. You know, with the cards that I was dealt with, I think we did pretty good for the day.
Yeah, you know, we were wondering where you were there at the beginning. Now we know what happened to you, but we had a lot of your fans that were tweeting, like, what's happened to McGill? Where's he at? Where's he at? So we're, you know, freaking out, like, looking for you. Baby. Yep, you're right here. Guys, he's right here on the podium. We found him. Don't worry. But that explains a lot out there.
Oh, yeah. It's track up here. It's hard. It's really hard to make up time. I think I made up, I go into the white flag. I was a little under 2 minutes down. I ended up running, I think it was Borge back down to a minute or something like that. So I wish I would have had another lap, but man, I'm so glad to be going home now, get out of this weather. I mean, we've had everything today. It's almost like a Penton, but I'm just ready to get out of these cold clothes, get in that camper, and get a shower.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, you have had some ups and downs here in the last half of the season. You were this close to being up here with these guys for that championship battle. You fell out of it, but you're right back up here. You're just, you know, you're a resilient guy.
I'm a fighter. I mean, I was brought up, especially with my parents, you know, they told me never quit at anything you do. And, you know, even if it was the worst day ever, you know, you can't quit, you can't give up. And, you know, that's kind of been my motto ever since I've been little. No matter how hard it gets, you always dig harder. And, you know, with this off week we had, you know, I trained my brains out. I rode. I did everything I could to make it possible. And it seemed like it just wasn't my day. But I'm telling you, we got 2 weeks and an Ironman. It's going to be on, baby. I'm telling you. I have nothing really to lose. We're going to just grip it and rip it and just really put this horsepower to the ground, these CST tires, and let these Axis and Lone Star components just eat on this thing.
Oh, man, that's what I like to hear from this guy right here. Adam, who else would you like to thank for getting up here?
You know, definitely RacingPowersports.com. They've been on it all year. You know, they're my title sponsor. Great group of guys. You guys need any components, give them a call or, you know, shoot them an email. CST tires, like I said, you know, didn't get the whole shot today, but and they never quit digging the whole day. You know, we just was able to charge up front and get up here on the podium. PoweredMX.com. You guys need any used parts, new parts, whatever. They got it as well. You know, we, like I said, Lone Star components, you know, DC Pro stuff. There's 2 more up here again, so the product's speaking for itself. Custom Axes here. I assume you guys seen them. Have my shocks dialed in all day long. You know, we have Blingstar, Flex, Quadtech, Baldwin, like I said, with my motors. This thing was just a monster, and, man, I can't wait to get a little bit more from Cornfields in 2 weeks. So, you know, Streamline brakes. We have Hyper wheels. You know, they worked really well today. FMF, Dirtworks with the 24-volt system, top-notch. CalGuard, RG, Cycra, Sunstar, Works Connection, JT, Scott Gallis for the Clearview, DeRisi Racing, Wiseco Pistons, you know, tire blocks. Them guys are coming on. They're coming on strong, and the product works really well. Twin Air, Outerwears, IMS, ODI, Get It Performance for the awesome skids, Throttle Out Performance, and Boys in Covers, you know, and friends and family, my dad for getting this thing together, and I'm dragging this out way too long, so I love all you guys. Thank you.
And, of course, your fiance, Haley, who did come to the race this weekend. We're glad to have her here. And right here in our second place position, let's hear it one more time. Chris Borch, our 5-time champ. Chris, second place here today at round 12. You guys are tied up in the points. Probably not a position that you like to be in. It's definitely not a position you're used to being in recently. But like we've been saying all along, you were in that position before. You were chomping at the bit, chomping at the heels of some guys above you. What are you feeling right now?
I'm just thankful to get a second here today. We was ripping there at the beginning, and then had to take my goggles off. The goggles messed up. Mud got up underneath from going through water, and ended up getting my contact ripped out. And trying to ride with one contact, it's pretty tricky. So we were able to glad to get a second here, and yeah, Ironman, love it.
All right, well, you know it's going to be a battle that it's going to be exciting for all you fans. Hopefully you guys are all going to make it to the Ironman because these two are tied in points. It's going to be exciting for sure. But Chris, talk about the second half of the season. You know, you haven't won a race since round 6, but it's not like it's been one thing that's kept you back. It seems like there's something every round that maybe be different. You know, what do you attribute some of these, bad lucks to that you've been having here in the second half of the season?
Oh, I mean, there's no excuses. I mean, there's just, bad luck. I mean, with no brakes the last 2 races, and you can't go fast with no brakes. But hey, Walker's riding really well, and hats off to him. But yeah, Ironman's going to be fun, I can tell you that. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. You definitely got some mud and some dirt in there. Those things are looking pretty brutal. You might want to go back and flesh those out. Chris, who would you like to thank for getting up here? Solid second place finish.
Oh, definitely my mom, my dad, my fiance Don, my mechanic Glenn, my buddy John. He used to be my own mechanic, and he was in for 2 months, and I can't thank him enough for what he's done. My brother, family, I mean, just everybody that comes and tries to push me to ride and do my thing. So, but Max's tires definitely hooked up awesome out there, considering how slick and gnarly it was to get up with some of these hills and the straightaways. So can't thank those guys enough, Heather and stuff. Precision Stabilizer, MSR gear, Yield Cycle Barn, Brian McCormick and his family, can't thank them enough. Suzuki, Fox, Hyper, Hinton, Wiseco, CV4, NRG Controls, DID Chains, Pro Taper, ATV Innovations, Shoei, Quadtech, AMSOIL, Great Oil, Scott for making the best goggles out there. I mean, can't help getting mud up underneath there, but can't thank those guys enough. Twin Air, Walsh, IQ, Acerbis, Accelodyne, VP Fuels, DP Brakes, HMF, OIP, Tire Balls, Trek, G4, and just the fans out there. So it's gonna be fun.
All right, talk about never giving up. This guy's had some struggles, but he's right here in the second place position. Let's hear it one more time for Chris Borich. Why don't you hold this trophy up high and proud? Let's hear it for your very own Ohio Walker Fowler. He is now tied up the points heading into the final round. That's something we have not seen in a very, very long time on the ATV side. So Walker, talk about the race out there, and just, we talked to you a little bit when you came off the track, but how are you feeling now knowing that heading into this final round, you do have a chance at this championship?
I don't even know. Like I said, I have no idea what even to think or say. It's if you would ask me after Snowshoe what I thought about the year and my chances at this championship, I mean, we weren't out of it obviously, but I was feeling pretty down, and I don't know. Everyone told me to quit caring, and that's kind of super strange, but I honestly just stopped caring, and I've just had so much fun and went back to grassroots, and just I'm having the best rides of my life, and they couldn't come at a better time. But I don't know. This is we're riding this train all the way to Ironman, I can tell you that.
Now you guys had an amazing start. You and Chris both. You got off there. You guys put a lot of time on third place just on the first lap there. Were you guys just both so pumped up? I mean, you guys are pretty much in your own world at this point.
Like I said, I try to get out and ride my own race, and Chris was just breathing down my neck the whole first lap, and I was like, all right, well, the typical strategy is not going to happen today, and it should be interesting. And I just sat there, waited, and I saw him drop back for a half a second, and I was like, I gotta go. And just started putting a little bit of time, and if I can get out and just do my own thing and not worry, not think, just ride. And that's what we were able to do, capitalize on some misfortunes. Chris was doing that earlier in the year with us. We had some bad luck. I had some terrible rider mistakes. And, the tables have turned, honestly. And like I said, I can't really attribute it to a whole lot other than just having fun.
All right, so you're talking about this whole not thinking, just going out, having fun. We have a couple weeks, a little bit more time in between this and the next round. Now that you're tied up, are you feeling any more pressure? Are you going to try to keep that just keep it cool?
Keep it cool. Honestly, the thing I'm most excited for is Monday golf with the bros. I've never played this much golf in my life, and I hate riding on Mondays, so I'd rather just go play golf.
All right, there you have it. Golf is the answer to everything. You're going to try to win a championship by playing golf. Maybe that's the key.
Hey, Ricky Fowler makes it work for him, and we're cousins,
Are you really?
We're not related at all, but hopefully he sees this. He won't, but Ricky,
if you're watching GNCC Live on RacerTV.com, this guy, your cousin, he knows all the tricks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Walker, who would you like to thank for getting up here in the center of the podium today?
First and foremost, just want to give the glory to God, and just can't do it without him. Chuck LeMaster for coming over and praying with us on the line. Hats off to the whole NFAB and Pro Yamaha team. This is just something that I can't really put into words. My mechanic, Mark Nautman, this thing, I get on it, and honestly, I think it just rides itself. It's pretty cool. It's just a phenomenal machine. Definitely got to thank Moto Experts, Maxxis tires out there. It was so slick the first lap, and we had the two Maxxis riders pull away from everybody, so that was pretty cool. Definitely got to thank, I think I already thanked Lone Star, but Lone Star, like McGill was saying, 2 DC Pro bikes up here again. It definitely speaks for itself. Hill International Trucks, we're right in their area, so definitely thanks to everyone from Hill that came out today. Really appreciate it. Fox Suspension, Larry Mills from DP Brakes, thank you, you're here, appreciate it. Stoked I could get a win for you. Tire balls, Hyper Wheels, Vortex outerwears, Precision Yamalube, Moto Seat, Fast handlebars. Colt's the man out there, and really helping me and McGill here. Definitely want to thank Lee at Neck Braces, Wiseco, Fuel Customs, Waynesburg Yamaha, IMS CV4, G4 Graphics, Works Connection, GYTR, DID, Dragon Racing Fuels, D4 Power Sports Pro Taper, the whole BNR crew, and you fans are just top notch. I can't, like I said, can't do it without you guys. My beautiful girlfriend, appreciate you for putting up with me these last couple weeks. It's definitely not easy, I'm sure. My mom, my dad are just awesome. My friends, where were they at? Bryce and Luke, and just everybody. I just can't thank them enough. Let's get this thing done.
All right, guys, there you have it, our top 3 overall finishers. Let's hear it for Walker Fowler, Chris Borich, and Adam McGill. All right, let's get this champagne celebration underway. I'm sure on this nice, cold, chilly day, we'd like to get a little champagne shower from Adam McGill. He said it's weird not holding the hold shot check. He's just turned in, he's just become accustomed to getting those hole shots now, so. We'll get our nice big photo op here. Our big eagle for the Powerline Park GNCC. All right, and as these guys get their champagne celebration underway, if we have Brent Sturdivant, if you are in the house, we're going to bring you up for your whole shot celebration. Brent Sturdivant.
Well, the celebrations are continuing down here on the podium, folks, and a historical one at that. The first time in over 20 years that GNCC ATV Racing can say they've got a tie situation heading into the final round. And as we always like to say in GNCC, to the victor goes the spoils, and the spoils in GNCC, the sweet, sweet spray of champagne. Also want to congratulate our Twitter winner in the Twitter contest, picking themselves up $250 in AMSOIL from AMSOIL, and of course $250 in great product there goes to Rocky Flaviano. He is at Rocky Flav, and that is his Twitter handle. But Rocky Flaviano, congratulations to you on winning the $250 in great AMSOIL product, and thank you very, very much for watching GNCC Live. Be sure and send us a tweet back there, Rocky Flav, at Rocky Flav, so we can get some things going on there. But nonetheless, celebrations continuing down on the podium right now. Adam McGill got the swag out. Always a fan favorite there for sure, no doubt about it. And I'm not sure if Jen's going to get our Whole Shot Award winner or not, but I'd like to see and talk with Brent Sturdivant as he got off to a great start here earlier today. And the crowd is loving what's going on. We got another podium celebration coming up with XC2 Pro-Am for you folks here at the racetrack. We are going to invite the rest of you folks watching along on RacerTV.com to return here in just a few moments. About 4:30 or so, we will be getting back underway with GNCC Live. This time, though, it's with the UTVs, the side-by-side racing, as we got the penultimate round in that one as well. And championships up for grabs as far as the side-by-side racing is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, as these three warriors celebrate their day of racing here at the ITP Powerline Park GNCC, put your hands together one more time for Adam McGill, Chris Borch, and Walker Fowler. And as they clear the podium there, and I believe Miss Jen, I tell you, man, got to hand it to Chris. You can see no pressure whatsoever, the weight of the world as far as the championship on his back right now. And you can tell that he's got his sights set for Ironman GNCC. Being the winningest GNCC racer from there at that particular event, he's got a lot of momentum on his side heading into that particular event, at least if nothing else, a whole host of confidence that could secure that 6th championship in GNCC racing. So the final few moments of celebrations are underway. A cold, cold day here in Ohio. As we mentioned, in Pennsylvania a couple of weeks ago, the winds have changed, began to blow, and they changed the weather for us this weekend. They changed, again, the face of this championship, making it not only a battle for the defender, but also now a tie situation for these two riders as they take their turns in writing their stories in the history books of GNCC, which could possibly be one of the most epic GNCC championships ATV-wise in over 20 years here in the GNCC Racing Nation. Again, as we said, stick around and or come back here in just a few moments as UTV side-by-side racing will be getting underway. I know we've got some more celebrations to do here at the racetrack, and with that being said, that should pretty much wrap up the day of racing for us right now. And I also just want to say thanks to a hardworking camera crew. Had a lot of inclement conditions and adverse conditions to work through to get the show on today. You guys did an awesome job. Appreciate all the extra and hard work that put in from the camera guys to the guys over here in the trailer. Just an outstanding job for on the part of everyone. So thank you very much. Also want to say thanks to Jen Kenyon, as we call her Jenny on the spot, and of course my co-host for the day, Mr. Fred Andrews. On behalf of all of us here at RacerTV.com and the AMSOIL GNCC Series, I'm Rodney Tomlin saying good day. Oh, we got the Whole Shot Award. Just got it. So we're going to go back over to the podium here real quick. And Jen Kenyon is with a very happy Brent Sturdivant.
That's right, Rodney. And Brent Sturdivant, I finally heard how to say his last name properly. That's right. Our XC1 Whole Shot Award, courtesy of Twin Air DeRisi Racing, $250 extra in your pocket. How's that feel?
It feels pretty good being, paying for everything for ourselves. So that'll go right back into the pocketbook. Yeah, definitely. Now talk about your race out there. It was a great start for you. Tell us how the rest of it went. Yeah, I think I led the first 5 miles or something. Got to the mud hole first, jumped it. We went through there. Fowler and Borich got around me in a really good line, and they were really rolling pretty good. I could tell that they really both wanted it today. So I tried sticking with them. I could see them a little bit. Ended up hitting the mud down there and got stuck for a little bit. The rest of the guys caught me, and then me and Chris Bithell, he didn't finish today. I want to apologize to him. We both came together out there really hard, ended his day, and I don't know what it did to the front of our bike. We don't have any front brakes, so the last 2 laps I was without front brakes. So we salvaged a 10th out of the day, which is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Now talk about what it's like going in the woods first. Is that something you like to do, or do you like to kind of hang back and watch what everybody else does?
Well, after 15 years, that was my first hole shot, so, it's okay. I don't mind putting the pace out there, but I knew those faster guys were going to be there, wanting to get around, so I stuck with them for a little bit. I like to be about second or third, really, just kind of riding around, so, but it was fun.
Yeah, I would say that's like the ideal position. Have a couple guys in front of you, but you want to be in front of a majority of the pack behind you, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's where you want to be in front, but didn't work out so much today.
All right, well, congratulations on your first hole shot. That's a pretty cool thing. Who would you like to thank for getting up here?
I got to thank my parents, my dad. He does everything for our quad. I got to thank my wife, my little daughter. I got a 3-year-old daughter now. She's my world now, so she loves it. It's cold out, and she's running around down there right now. So, got to thank them. ATV Foreplay, Tom at ATV Foreplay. He's about the only guy that really came on this year for me. I've been out of it for a little while. Didn't expect a lot of people to come back, but we're having fun. Don't know how many more races I'm actually going to do. I don't know if this will be the last year or not, but we're having fun.
Well, hey, if you keep getting hole shots, you'll get some camera time, you'll get some podium time. That'll be good stuff.
Yeah, I should have just pulled over there, took $250, went home.
Yeah, that's right. Get that hole shot, pack it up, and go home, right?
Thanks a lot.
All right, Brent Sturdivant. I'm going to mess up the last name, but anyways, congratulations. Awesome job. He's going to do a nice big photo op minus the check. Someone walked away with it. If you are carrying around a Twin Air DeRisi Racing hole shot check, you could please return that to the podium. That would be very, very awesome.
That's funny. All right. Thanks a lot, Jen Kenyon. Good job, Brent Sturdivant. I know I butchered your name for years. I've gone back and forth on that one. But anyway, buddy, I hope we get to see you a lot more in the future. Somebody give that guy a call. Get him back to the GNCC a little more. Well, like we said, folks, that's pretty much going to do it. We've got more GNCC Live continuing in just a few minutes with our UTV racing action. Join us back here again for that, and or back again tomorrow at 1 o'clock as we've got motorcycle racing getting underway. The return of Charlie Mullins and the battle for the second place position in overall points gets underway again tomorrow right here from Powerline Park. On behalf of everyone, Jen Kenyon, Fred Andrews, and all the Racer TV staff and management, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Good day, everybody.